Hey, Sunshine Monet with the affirmations to enjoy your day with Sunshine Monet. You are listening to Chakra Music. I came through with intentions of destruction. You said you wanted freedom, well it's me then that you wanted. I moved in gratitude as my soul was being summoned. The consciousness has returned, Christ is really coming. I make these flows for the souls that drenched in indigo. I made some goals for they glow since they was embryos. Access the records, they lectures, keep your principles. Enemies and shit, don't let them reach your pinnacles. Reversing curses that's embedded in religions. They wound up in your soul, that's why you feel tension. I'm remixing the clenches before Sumerians existed. It's something in the water, don't get caught, you'll get acidic. I bury enemies, pay pinnacles to the witness. You say my name in threes, I appear in your vision. Write Iliads of me, I'm the witcher in your system. Silly as can be, there's no opposite in infinite. I'm the goddess of crossroads, touching all directions. With the skull and crossbones that cause to the vexes. I applaud the protectors, I'm the god of inflection. They see the demon in me and still pause the respecters. I need no translation, vibrating from universe. My throat mansplaining while my yoni do the work. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts.
Enoch 7 prophet, move like the full winds do. My energy is useful, my thoughts are old school. So I move with a Bob Slim. Say I'm sexy, haircut like Anita Baker, real lovely. Caught up in the rapture, it's kind of risque. Kisses and faces on public is real frisky. Touche.
You are listening to Chakra Music.
Mask off.
I prefer to watch human behavior from afar. The ignorance, intelligence, and they are the war. Tragedies, strategies, put knowledge in the book. Change our language so we couldn't read it if we look. Convince us we ain't have shit here but disease. Made us 3/5 human and black illegally. You put your fist up to being African American. How much history you went through for that to make some sense? I've been on Turtle Island 10,000 years. Akubulan been my neighbor. Pangea brought me here. The world didn't start in 1400s. Niggas grow up. What you think we was doing? Morse was running Europe. We been tribal folk, now it's time to show up. Bring back the villages, cause cities ain't got no love. Your melanin addicted to the infliction of pollution. Chemical dependency, nature the solution. Grow your food and medicine, build homes in conclusion. The enemy will televise infiltration as inclusion.
And in order to be an appropriate persona in this country, whether that be North America, Central America, or South America, you must be a Moor. If they want to be sovereign, they got to go home. They cannot be sovereign here.
Universe is generous, so stay blessed. I'm on it like a magic carpet. Ride away through your hood, all I find I keep. Beat to a abandoned scene, must be left by the vaccine. Oh well, we tried to told them. Now let's go into hell, molten lava jail. Now digger, well we gon' live well for free. The mind state translate the meekest first plan.
This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. Papa Legba, Yeshua, Ilegua, come out, Papa Legba, Yeshua, Ilegua, come out, Papa Legba, Yeshua, Ilegua, come out. Cause this is our land. Yes, we was here first. They came here on a boat. They'll leave here in a hearse. They'll leave here through the dirt. They're going through the earth. We're channeling their ancestors to undo their hurt. Cause once upon a time, we all could read and write. That legal lease is lies. Strong men spelled cursive ties. straw men, all caps disguised. They've gentrified our lives. We've redefined their sights. We've redefined their kind. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Yes, this shit is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Play their game, but by our rules. I'm Queen Annie the Maroon. I am Queen of Dongo. I am Queen of Zinga. I am Yenaga. I'm Carlotta and Fermina. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Cause I am a goddess. I am a priestess. I chant these mantras and they all repeat it. And we make a promise, this land we gon' seize it. Get vengeance for Mother Earth treason. This ain't the gentrifier. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. Repetition of empires. Invading land with gunfire. Slavery not hostess for higher. Income not what you desire. Outcome working jobs for hours. Mindset waiting to retire. Never stop working for dollars. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor you gon' choose? When you chant, they gonna lose. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor we gon' choose? When we chant, they gonna lose. I mean, my spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors defend. I got that juice to transcend. I mean, my spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors defend. I got that juice to transcend. Cause I am a Santi, I am a Sata, I am a Hosi, I am a Homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Cause I am a Santi, I am a Sata, I am a Hosi, I am a Homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose? Hey, choose. Cause when we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose?
Mess with the wrong witch, and she knows it. And now you know it.
Peace, y'all.
Greetings, everyone.
Welcome to the Sankofa season.
Well, we are looking back on our first season and our second season, bringing it forth, expounding on it.
Right. While the puppies sing in the background, because that's what they do.
That is a full ass grown woman right there. Both of them.
She is singing the blues. Can you stand the rain? Not that slide, buddy.
Yo!
Alright. I'll try this again.
It's always something. It's always something.
Always.
So today we are learning about the houses in astrology. Yeah, you go ahead and get that stuff together while we I get my
plague on all your motherfucking hosts.
And today we have visuals as usual, but these visuals are really, really pretty.
Yay!
I love illustrations.
I do too. I love it here. I am especially excited to do the houses today because I watched the last season episode, the first season episode, and it was actually pretty good. We talked a lot about what energy each house brings and stuff like that, and how it affects people and stuff. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and we're gonna do that all over again today.
Yeah, and now we know new stuff.
New stuff.
New stuff.
I know it's definitely new to me. Sis be playing like it be new to her, but she be on it.
Sometimes it'd be new stuff, or sometimes I'd be talking about stuff I know, and it'd be like an aha moment, like, oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Aha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, light bulbs definitely go out. Go off. Not go out. They go off.
Where?
Is it dark in here to you? Do I need more light? Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
A little
You
bit.
got all the light.
Really?
Yeah, you got all the lights. Sis.
It don't look like that here. I might need the kitchen light on. Hold on, mental 444.
So we got the dreidel up here again because I want y'all to see like the numbers, in alignment with the zodiacs and the houses, which is what we're going to expound on as we get into the actual houses and stuff. Who's that? I'm trying to find. Shit, what am I trying to find? Oh, yeah, there we go. So let's talk about it. So in like astrology, your planets are like your what? What is the energy?
Look, since I'm over here sitting there about to explain it, and I was on mute, I was like,
oh, yeah, explain that, John. Shit.
Well, you don't put it up here for us to read, but okay, that's to explain the houses 1 through whatever. Okay, so astrology, houses are the central importance of our birth charts, and they represent different areas of life. There are 12 houses, and each is represented within the zodiac sign. Houses are representation of the rotation of the Earth's movement around the sun on its movement. The rotation of the Earth on its axis, my bad, over the course of 24 hours, which that was new to me. I was like, just 24 hours? But I guess that makes sense, right? Because, you have those degrees and all that and make that shit too. But you go ahead. That was my brief introduction.
No, that was a good one, Basically, houses just show where in your life you're addressing this energy, which is the planet. And the zodiac. So you got 2 different zodiacs going on because the law of physics says for every energy is an equal opposite energy. So you got the zodiac that your planet is in, and you got the house. So you're putting that, that flavor of sun or that flavor of moon or whatever into that house. And then the zodiac energy that's ruling over that house shows you the kind of energy that you're getting back. So you get that, like, give and return type of energy. Now the houses are, explained in a certain kind of way. So are the planets. So you'll hear people say, oh, these are my personal planets or these are my interpersonal planets. And basically the personal planets are the sun, moon, plus Venus, Mars, Mercury. And then the planets, the interpersonal planets, are the planets outside of that, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter, Pluto. Those are the personal planets. So when we say personal, we're talking about you. This is my personality, my relationship, myself, my energy, me. But when we say interpersonal, now we're talking about you and your energy exchanges with other people. Now we're talking about the energy that other people, get from you when they're in your space. Right. So, that's a thing.
So the planets describe a certain process of what is happening.
Yes. And the houses just say where it's happening.
Right. Okay. And then your zodiacs is where the planet is located and determines the planet of it is manifesting itself, right? And how it is happening.
Yep. That's what's happening.
Interesting. Oh, you know what? So when we were backstage, I was asking sis about the Lilith. what have you. I forgot that Lilith does have um it does have a placement. It does have, it does have a placement in the house or what have you. But also, I was looking up about the mansions. I remember we talked about that briefly in season one.
Mm-hmm.
And upon me looking up mansion or whatever, it's something to do with the moon's rotation, and all that. So I'm like,
Okay.
since we talked about our little episode, I was like, okay, so we learned that the Lilith is a position of the
Yeah.
moon, right? When
Right.
it reaches, a certain point,
When it's
furthest away from
it's
the Earth,
what
right?
is it called? Aphelion? When it's the
Uh-huh.
furthest from the Earth? Yeah.
Right. Right. And so I was like, well, It that was a little aha moment for me or whatever, which brought it right back because I looked at my own placement. I was like, oh, my Lilith does have a placement or whatever. But I'm wondering, like, well, it's in a house, but is it also in a mansion though?
Now, see, you about to put me on because I thought that houses and mansions were the same thing. Now, when we talk about mansions, are we talking about the nakshatras, the 27 deity joints? Is that what we're talking about here?
Because I don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know what we're talking about when we say mansions. See, I thought houses and mansions were synonyms. I didn't realize they were two different things.
I'm thinking they were two different things. Just my thought process. I'm thinking like mansions are much larger, so they're gonna consist of more components than the houses.
Oh,
But
let's find out.
we're gonna fuck around and find out then.
Because that would make sense because, houses have been based upon, because whenever I hear the word mansion, I usually hear the term lunar in front of it.
Right.
And so if they
So
were two different things, I would think one would be more about the moon's path while the houses are more about
maybe an inclusion of both of them, like the moon and the the planets together. There goes another aha moment. I like these aha moments. I like how we get to do more studying
right during the
episode.
jump. There's 28 lunar mansions and observance and recordings of the moon through the places appear. The lunar mansions are determined by the position of the moon as she circles the earth, taking her average motion of 12 degrees and dividing that by 360 degrees of the zodiac. So we arrive at 28 distinct positions the moon can occupy in the sky on any given night.
Okay.
These positions were conceptualized as places where the moon rested for the night. The Chinese name for mansions are I ain't reading that shit.
Let me see it. Let me see it.
Urshi Burger.
That sounds German.
Urshi Bashu. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that definitely sounds Japanese.
Yeah. It said Chinese though. It better illustrates this with the word shui, meaning something more like a place one finds lodging for the night, almost like a motel room.
Oh, okay. So maybe the
okay. So now we're dealing with
like at night.
You know what? I think this is in such an alignment because I was having this dialogue with a Virgo about the darkness and my, interest in darkness and how like we're basically in the dark, but all we see is how light is like refracted on everything right now. So I'm like, if everything isn't born in the dark, how come we don't talk about the darkness? So, like, I think this is cool that we talk about this because the houses do deal more so with the sun, and the sun's ecliptical than it. So
I'm a creature of the night as well.
I do like the night, and and I've been having this, desire to get into dark things lately. And it's a nice segue into next season of Virgo Virgin Talk when we get into the light and dark of the chakras.
Ooh. I like the dark side. I'm not gonna hold you. It's so much mysteriousness there. And I think we more point at nighttime too, because we have to be, when one of our senses is lacking, our others have to heighten up. Whether it be, I think our emotional feelings are more heightened at night than versus the daytime. I mean, you have some during the day with your absorbance of the sun, but then at nighttime, you start to really feel like your deeper parts and your darker parts of yourself, I believe. Or maybe that's just me. Anywho.
It's like a wonder. I have like a wonder about it. Yeah. Like, because I don't know what his stance was, but it was appearing that his stance was like, well, you want to know about the dark, you shouldn't want to know about the dark. But I'm like, but it would cure so many like curiosities to know about it, in a sense of like, okay, people are always feared of the dark, but that's where we all start at, and that's where we all end up, in the dark, in the womb, before like the light comes and stuff like that. So what's in the dark? And today in Sunday school, we're actually going to talk about Olokun, the sacral chakra energy, which Olokun was in alignment with Amen-Ra, which is the hidden deity, the dark deity that was always painted like a indigo color blue. So it's nice, I love when things are aligned in topic and dialogue and stuff. It'd be like a whole theme for me. Like, see, this is the theme of the week for you, Nika. Like, cool, I take it.
It'd be totally unplanned, unorchestrated, but it works out.
Yeah, it'd be in alignment. So, maybe the next Sankofa season, we're going to come back. We got to do a Lunar Mansion episode. Are we going to add that? We should add that to the next season of Virgo Virgin Talk, because this is a whole thing. We're talking about 28 deities and stuff.
Oh, yeah, the Orishas and all that too.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole episode by itself.
Maybe that should be like, I don't know, what episode should it be? I was thinking maybe the 3rd episode, possibly. I don't know.
That'd be cool. Because this is like Arabic, and then it's also Chinese and Indian astrology, because you get into the nakshatras, which is 27, but they give you like the extra 28, I guess, to align it with the lunar mansions, which is cool. I'll take it. So, yeah, we definitely going to do that next season.
Yeah, let me write that down.
Let's write that down. Lunar mansions next season, and then we're going to talk about the difference between the lunar and the solar houses.
And there's Orishas, what I'm saying, who work with the night sky or whatever, darkness, Orishas of darkness,
Right.
And shit, with the night, it's like the death of the sun and rising into the underworld. What's up? I'm on the phone. Okay, here. This girl got her phone back working, honey, and she just forget mama. So now I'm just working off of one device. Or unless I use this tablet, but I don't know. Tablet be kind of iffy sometimes.
I don't know how that goes.
Oh, it's dead. Yeah, it's a done battle. Oh, I can go and get my computer. Forgot I had one.
You want me to play a music video while you
Oh yes, sis. Look, I gotta work on the cues when I be ready to walk away and do some extra shit. Yeah, play that video again.
Hey, Sunshine Monet with the affirmations to enjoy your day with Sunshine Monet. You are listening to chakra music. I came through with intentions of destruction. You said you wanted freedom, well, it's me then that you wanted. I moved in gratitude as my soul was being summoned. The consciousness has returned, Christ is really coming. I make these flows for the souls of Drish and Indigo. I make some goals for they glow since they was embryos. Access the records, they lectures, keep your principles. Enemies infect you, don't let them reach your pinnacles. Reversing curses that's embedded in religions. They wound up in your soul, that's why you feel tension. I'm remixing the clenches before Sumerians existed. It's something in the water, don't get caught, you'll get acidic. I bury enemies, pay pinnacles to the witness. You say my name in threes, I appear in your vision. Write Iliads in me, I'm the witcher in your system. Obsilly as can be, there's no opposite in infinite. I'm the goddess of crossroads, touching all directions. With the skull and crossbones that call to the vexes. I applaud the protectors, I'm the god of inflection. They see the demon in me and still pause the respecters. I need no translation, vibrating from universe. My throat mansplaining while my yoni do the work. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts.
Enoch 7 prophet, move like the four winds do. My energy is useful, my thoughts are old school. So I move with a Bob Slim. Say I'm sexy, haircut like Anita Baker, real lovely. Caught up in the rapture, it's kind of risque. Kisses and faces on public is real frisky. Touche.
You are listening to chakra music.
Mask off.
And we're
Yeah,
back. Lovely, dope song.
Muchas gracias. Muchas
Oh
gracias.
yes. The performance and everything in it was dope. I thoroughly enjoyed.
So let's talk about these houses, girl.
Let's talk about the houses. We into his house.
We're in the house. So the first house is the body that you're born with.
Right.
This gets into like your physical appearance, your general temperament, attitude, the energy that you give off when you like walk into a room, like the impression you give off. Now when we talk about like transit charts, when transit planets go into this house, whatever energy you got, that energy is going towards new goals and projects in this house. Your attitude, your identity, your approach to it, all of that is your planet in the zodiac going into this house. So like physically speaking, because the houses also are in alignment with your physical body, this is in alignment with your head, mind, your hair, your skin, your physical ability, your general health, your vitality and vigor. So yeah, it's associated with an Aries energy. You know, Aries energy is associated with the number 1. And then I also got into like friends and stuff. So you know, Aries energy is ruled by Mars, right? So Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So if you have a Mars in Capricorn, that's good for like, you know, how you approach the goals and stuff. You come at it in like a very structured, you know, realized kind of way. But if your Mars is in Cancer, which is like that water, like kind of going inward, I don't really feel like it, that's the debilitating energy. That means that like it's going to be kind of difficult for you to get this Mars done. And then as far as like friends and foes of this energy, so Mars is cool with the sun. So like say the sun, the moon, or Mars are in your first house, they like it there. Those are good places for those planets. Also the zodiac energies, except for the moon, but like those planets actually like it there. But
so whatever planets are in the same placement of the houses or whatever are in the same house, they gonna complement each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like these planets complement this house. If the sun is there, which is your ego, because you know your ego going towards goals and getting things done, you gonna get that shit done. And then like your moon, if your emotions are in tune with it and you really feel like it. And then the thing about and that's a beautiful way to get into the lunar mansions, because the moon loves it in the first house of getting done. And you know, in the astrological update, I always talk about like the position of the moon is for the day or whatever, how we start the day off, and that gives you a vibe of what phase of your project that you're in as far as the moon phase goes and what zodiac energy is in. So like you'll have a nice step-by-step structure within self with the moon. So the sun is a step-by-step structure outside of self. The moon is a step-by-step structure within self. And then Mars in the first house is his home space. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm really gonna get this shit done. Like that's kind of like the gym class hero type of energy.
I think it's pretty dope with that. You know what I'm also thinking? Like the planets that have their moons, like if their moons have an effect on like the houses and stuff too.
Yeah, like I would think that they would like interact with one each other, because like if your sun is in this solar house but in this lunar mansion, it'd probably be like this is the bright side to your sun and this is like the dark side to your sun, kind of. That's what I'm feeling. We'll see. I'm going to see if I can confirm or deny.
Like I be feeling like, okay, which planet has like a whole lot of moons? Is it Saturn or Jupiter or whatever? Shit, I think both of them motherfuckers got a whole
Yeah, they
lot of
both
moons.
got a lot of moons.
So like when your placements, you know, are in Jupiter and your Jupiter is in a certain house or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they moons have the effects too.
Right.
I know there's gotta be some effects with that. Yeah. Cause our moon, the Earth's moon, you know, here we have a mansion with that. So they got super mansions?
I mean, space is so infinite, you can keep going forever and never be done.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure you could just like keep going out further and further, because every structure has its own like pole. And if you can create a pole out of something, which is kind of like that, like what is it, like the diameter, the middle part of the diameter of a circle or oval shaped thing. As long as you could do that, you can create, you know, lines in your mind, you know, whatever. And you can kind of do that with everything. You could do that in between. You could look at the ecliptic between the Earth and any planet and create a pole in between and do it again. Like you could just keep doing that. It's just about how much you want your mind to expand on outer space, and then realize that the outer space is in alignment with inner space. It's a lot of thinking.
To spend on that with the mansion episode that we're going to have next season.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Don't let me forget it. I'm going to write it down.
All right, tell us some stuff about the second house then, yeah.
Okay, second house, we get in touch with our resources, our own values and personal possessions, and we know the concepts of security. Let's see. We have the possibility to concretize, fix, and give shape to what we have started under the impulse of the first house. So it's like when you have like the next house is like the house before it has, you know, effect as well with it. Like it's like kind of like paired to me. Is what it seems. In this area of life, we get in touch with our resources, our values, belongings, and possessions, and the beginning of the sector of the chart where we deal with the concepts of valuation, security, and stability that we will use during the life, coming from our ability to transform talents into money, benefits, and returns that it brings. There go their returns. It's always like a yin and a yang with that, or exchange. It's always an exchange in life. It represents everything that a person calls mine, being the materialization of our personal energy and our libido into something tangible. I like the sound of that.
Word. So you know the second house is associated with Venus, right? So it's like Taurus energy, Venus. So let's talk about the Venus friends. So Venus is exalted in Pisces energy. So if you see like Neptune and Venus together in any type of way, Pisces, Taurus energy, or Pisces, Libra energy in any type of way, that's good. Venus is debilitated by Virgo, and that's so wild because my Venus is a Virgo, and I really do feel like that Virgo overthinking, overanalyzing energy gets in the way of just like going with the flow of like heart vibrations and stuff. It's so irritating.
Right, your Venus. Oh yeah, your Venus is in Virgo. I will never forget that.
Virgo. It seems very debilitating. And then you know, Venus owns Taurus energy. Venus's friends are Saturn and Mercury. So Saturn is good because Venus is the realms of business and wealth, right? So if you have Saturn is like the realm of discipline, order, structure, authority, that entrepreneurship type spirit. So if you have some type of Saturn and Venusian alignments, whether they're close to each other, you got Venus in the 10th house or Saturn in the 2nd house, 7th house, whatever, like that's a good space. That's a good vibe. Right now in the transit chart, Saturn is in the 7th house, so it's actually in a strong house of the Libra scales. So they're getting along right now, doing the thug dizzle in Pisces, and that's why it's almost like unbelievable how much manipulation and delusions and illusions that we have in our realm that are being unraveled right now simultaneously, and that's because Saturn is in a strong house in Pisces. So it's kind of like, bro, can we really believe? Like, are y'all really like on these screens telling us these truths like this? Like, it's kind of unbelievable, but the way the stars move, they have no choice. Like, it's the electromagnetic pull. It is what it is. That's how the cookie crumbles.
You can't hide the truth.
Venus doesn't like anybody else.
Word.
Yeah, they only like Saturn
right.
and Mercury. They don't like anybody else. If it's not Saturn or Mercury, fuck them.
Saturn and Mercury. Those are two very, very, very different, type of planets and the relations to them.
Yeah,
well,
they're different. They're Earth. It's like you got the three Earths together.
I get it. I get it though, with the communication of Mercury and you said in Saturn, right?
Yeah.
Your boundaries, right? Your self-discipline. So it deals a lot with yourself and
your self-discipline and your outward discipline.
Yeah,
I could see that being beneficial in bouts of love as well as finances.
Right.
So that's cool.
That's pretty dope. So then next we have the 3rd house.
Yeah.
You want me to explain that, or you want to do the explaining of that? We're going to have to fight over this one because, what I'm saying. We're going to French a little bit on this one because it's the Mercury,
you can start it off. I can't walk with you, sis.
All right. So, okay, in the 3rd house, we have Mercury, and, perception, learning, and fellowship is dealing with this house. The 3rd house represents the first awareness and the first process of distinction between ourselves and the world around us. Okay. It is related to the development and cognition that creates us the sense of individuation. Did I say look, individualism? I'm going to say that, okay? Because y'all just made some shit up. The perception that the external world has its own life and is not directly related to our existence. It indicates the intellectual mechanisms that move us and follow in a certain direction on account of a rational book and endowed with a model of its own logic. Here we are able to understand people and how people are different from us, okay? And what are characteristics that separate us, such as language and the way we communicate, like the dialects, okay, and ability to think in dialogue. All right, I like that. Logical. That's how I am. I be listening to people talk. I be analyzing. I be reading. I be doing a whole lot of shit at one time. Almost makes me think like I'm a fucking Gemini or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't Mercury rule over Gemini too?
Yep.
It does.
These are equal opposite energies. The right. Air and earth.
Indeed, I definitely like that. Okay.
On your body, the Gemini rules over your lungs, your hands, your arms, your neck, throat, collarbone, breathing, because it's an energy, body growth, because you're dealing with like your interpersonal network or whatever. And then when you get into the story of the Beji twins and Gemini twins, this part makes sense. But their house also deals with like different diseases of the head, the thought, intellectual realms of it, poisoning, cuts, wounds, sore eyes, itches, blood pressure, loss of energy, diseases of female organs, bone fractures, tumors, cancers, piles, menstrual disorder, ulcer, rectal diseases, chickenpox. You don't catch some, it's probably
Rectal diseases?
Gemini. Right, stuff in your butt.
Damn.
Because
Damn.
it's a form of express. Mercury deals with expression.
You can
So
be a
like,
whole
however,
asshole in how you express with yourself. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, however way your body expresses that there's an imbalance going on, that's in
Mm-hmm.
alignment with Mercury.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
definitely like that.
when you see different ailments and diseases with that kind of mindset, is you supposed to think like, oh, my body is reacting to something that's wrong, not saying, oh, this is what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? So like
Mm-hmm.
tumors is a big example. Like we just labeled a tumor, oh, this is cancer or whatever, this is what's wrong, and that's not what's wrong. That's a symptom of something that's wrong. That's your body reacting. That's your body expressing to you, hey, something in here is imbalanced. The tumor is how we're responding to this imbalance. I need you to do
Right.
something.
Right. You've been ignoring it for a little minute. Now it's going to have to like grow inside you to bring it to your attention. Now, you've
Yeah.
been ignoring the other signs, ignoring everything else that was subtle to it. Right.
So when it comes to Mercury, Mercury is exalted in Virgo, of course. It's debilitated in Pisces. You know, that's the equal opposite energy. Pisces on the other side of the John, which makes sense because that emotional energy and the energy of being gullible and stuff like that does get in the way of you being able to think logically and rationally about different things and be perceptive.
And might I say that I believe like Pisces is like the other, it's like twinning with the fucking Gemini. You know what I'm saying? It's like the other side of the fucking Gemini, just a lack of, maybe expression, but more on emotions, is what
Right.
I would say. My experience with them. I know.
I can agree because you got two fishes, just like in Gemini, you got two twins. So
Exactly.
it seemed like it's the same. It's just, Gemini is more so air, and air energy deals with wounds and intellect. Your mindset's interpretation of said wounds, whereas water
Mm-hmm.
can deal with wounds too, but water deals more so with wounds of the emotional sense.
Right.
So Gemini is more so, it's the principle of the matter, where
Mm-hmm.
Pisces energy is like, you hurt my feelings. Like, and
Right,
that's the
right.
only
Then I'd
difference.
be like, fuck your feelings.
But you do get two different energies, just a matter. What are we gonna get today? Mercury owns Gemini, of course, that's the other side of the game. Mercury's friends are the sun and Venus, which makes sense. Our ego is definitely rooted in our ability to think and communicate and learn and teach and stuff like that, as well as it being a good space of business. People that are ruled by Mercury energy, like if y'all not in some type of teaching position or something like that, what is you doing? There's a lot of people out here that know stuff, but they can't teach it. You have the ability to teach it. Just go ahead and learn it.
Yeah, that be me. I feel like I never desired to want to be a teacher, but you know what I'm saying? I have damn the potential. I want to remove potential. Okay.
Do that shit.
Okay. Throw that shit in the trash. I have the ability to teach, depending what it is. It might not necessarily be about, the astrology aspects, but I could give you the teachings of the interpersonal effects of your life, what your astrology is going to bring out to you.
What's right?
Mm-hmm.
And she got the knowledge of the herbs. Don't sell yourself short.
Oh yeah,
She
yeah,
can
definitely
mix
got
it.
the
She can
knowledge of
mix
the
the
herb
herbs.
naturally. You know what I'm saying? I can mix with some shit
Hygiene
that's
is
gonna
on
make you
point.
feel better. Yeah, I definitely have some knowledge of some herbs, like as far as like I want to say like an instinct. You know what I'm saying? Like I know what's good without me ever having to do some research on it, just like some now, not all of it now, because I don't want to fuck you. I'll fuck around with some goddamn wolf bane or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you ain't supposed to touch that motherfucker. But and it's something that's maybe the healing sense of it, not the ones that'll harm you. But I know
Respect.
naturally stay away from some shit. Yeah, so yeah. But I want to get more into my herbs so I can teach others about it.
You shall. You is.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Doing
gonna
it.
have our we're gonna have a herbal episode next season too. Fuck it up.
Well, yes,
Let's do it.
that's what's up.
The third house also deals with this is the house of siblings as well. The third house on the Vedic chart of things, the third house, like, so you know how like in Hindu culture they have like the Vedic chakras and stuff like that, and we're gonna get into that later on after we do the houses and stuff like that more deep. But the third house deals with your younger siblings, and your father-in-law. So if you're trying to look for specific situations, because you know, tropical deals with your thoughts and your mindset, the Vedic deals with your vibrations, but the nakshatras deal with actual events and happenings because of the mind and vibration. So
now,
when you
I got a question. It was
What's
a quick
up?
interjection. Why would a father-in-law have such a significance?
In Vedic, they actually get into everybody: the mother, the father, the maternal grandmother, the paternal
The
grandparents.
cultural difference, yeah, over there on that side.
Over there, they really care about that. So it's
fairly
in
oriented
alignment
about the
with
other
their
side of the family.
houses and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah, they actually lock arms with their father, you know, with both in-laws, both sets of in-laws.
Yeah, they put all of
They
that
be
in the
in business a
stars.
lot.
They even do younger and older siblings have different. Older siblings are in the 11th house, whereas younger siblings are in the 3rd house.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Now I see
everybody
that.
kind of got like a space.
That's what's up, though. That's how it should be.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Well, we only see that on movies with white folks.
Right, in real life, they be on fucking true crime TV, killing their parents for inheritances and shit. So getting into the 4th house, the 4th house is the home and family house. This is the Cancer house. Damn, how I end up doing the Cancer house? I hear. Anyway,
Hey, I already seen it coming. I was like, nope.
That's cold. This is an individual's relationship with the maternal figure and their outlook on domesticity. See, I can't be tamed. I'm not tameable. I am tameable, but I'm not. It's weird. I don't know. It's the Venus and Virgo, y'all. The planets move through here. They encourage us to invest in our infrastructure, creating private and nurturing spaces. So like self-care is important here, emotions, foundation, feminine energy, basic security. We have the sun is in Cancer on the Vedic chart right now, just entered Cancer on the Vedic chart last Monday. Even though on the tropical it's officially in Leo. So even so in your vibrations, you still feel this, 4th house energy as the sun is still in the 4th house. And we'll get into the science of that later. But body part wise, the 4th house controls over the neck, throat, collarbone, hands, breathing, diseases of the head. Oh shit! I read the 4th house when I was supposed to read the 3rd house. Did I? Oh no,
I read the 3rd house. Remember, I said we was gonna scratch over that 3rd house because we both. That's both our planet.
Right.
That's both our house. Yeah. You was on it though with the 4th house. We was talking about what you said with the siblings. So it's your family, your roots, your foundation, and your private life.
Yep. So the 4th house is associated with Cancer. That's the moon, right? So the moon is exalted in Taurus. It's debilitated in Scorpio. Yeah. So all that extreme energy will fuck that moon up. Them Scorpio moons out there is crazy, cuz you gonna go to jail.
Oh no, they ain't me. They ain't my Scorpio placement.
They own Cancer energy. The moon's friends is the sun and Mercury, which makes sense. Cause they're
so close.
Yeah, they're so close. The moon and sun, when they get along, it's a good time. It's like your inner and outer self are in alignment. And then when your Mercury is in alignment with the moon, it's dope because your emotional self is in alignment with your decision-making mind and your moral and integral code. So that's always a divine alignment. And they the moon doesn't have no enemies.
Yeah, because it'll fuck some shit up.
Yeah, the moon is accepted everywhere. It's just if you got a Scorpio moon,
I know somebody with a Scorpio moon and they're a Leo sun.
They crazy.
Yeah. My sister, she's a Scorpio moon and a Leo sun. Ding. Let's see. So they called the fourth house, which has a cusp, is the bottom of heaven. It is the second angular house in the drawing of an astrological chart, and basically represents our origins, our past, emotional, psychic, and genetic family. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They did indicate that the local meridian cuts across the ecliptic below the horizon, the point of where the zodiac is called sky bottom. Interesting. Interesting analysis of this house. It complements the analysis of the bottom sky. Okay. In the same way, the complete analysis of what happens in the first house complements the indications given by ascendant. So it's all complementing each other. What it's saying right here, is yeah, because the first house is in what? First house is the sun, Leo. Hold up.
First house is Aries.
Aries.
That's Mars,
Okay.
solar plexus chakra.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The second house is peace. The second house is Taurus. That's the wealth and family, the house of possessions. Then we did third house being Gemini. That's house of siblings. Fourth house is the house of mother. Now the fifth house is the house of the paternal grandfather, the grandpapa.
This is your granddaddy.
This is your granddaddy. This is your granddaddy. So this house is associated with creativity, romance, pleasure, and children. I love the fifth house. I have so many placements in the fifth house, and I'm a Leo rising.
And it's the sun as well, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
This planet deals with one's artistic expression and delivering eureka moments that boost confidence. We the best cheerleaders in the whole motherfucking planet. You heard me. Drama and attention needs. I have a lot of Leo rising friends.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, you, Muhammad.
Muhammad looks like a Leo.
She does. It's the eyes. We all got them eyes.
And her hair out. I don't have the eyes of a Leo, but she has the hair, the mane.
It's not necessarily the eye shape. It's like the captivation. Like, yeah. Like Scorpio has eyes, but Scorpio's eyes is like the what's his name? Something Beckford. They like his eyes. Like everybody look half Asian and shit. We be having like them captivating, like childlike eyes. It's something there. Cause it was this dude, he has a YouTube joint, and I was like, dang, I just fell in love. And then I come to find out his South Node is in Virgo. I found out his South Node was in Virgo today in one of his lives. And then and then I found out yesterday he's a Leo rising. I'm like, see, it's the eyes, bro. Because that man got some beautiful eyes. He's on YouTube. This older dude from St. Luke, he sound like he from the Bayou somewhere, the way he be talking and shit. But yeah, I just found him, but he been on YouTube for years. So I'm late to the party.
Right.
But yeah, them Leo risings. It's the hair, the mane, the eyes. We more Leos than Leo suns because the sun is just the ego. It's your experience. The sun is the kind of experiences you walking around having. You have Virgo experiences. We have Virgo experiences. But our temperament while we're having these experiences is Leo. The energy we give off when we walk in a room is Leo. A Leo doesn't give off Leo energy when they walk in a room. They give off whatever energy they're rising is in. They just have Leo experiences. So my energy exchanges, their energy exchanges involve a lot of them reminding people they Leos. I'm a Leo. Whereas our energy exchanges is like we remind the motherfuckers we Virgos. Like, bro, don't play with me. I'm a Virgo. I'm not stupid. You know?
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, my bad, because you definitely came in here acting like a Leo. Now I gotta remind you who the fuck I is. Because my heart's so big. Now I gotta remind you what a Virgo do.
Right.
So like that's how that goes. But yeah, fifth house gang off in this thing. This rules the heart, the spine, the forearms, the upper abdomen, the gallbladder, the intestines, sperm and womb come out of the fifth house because you're dealing with the creativity and pleasure here. It's the cure or absence of sickness, because you know, if you're sick, the best thing to make yourself feel better is to go out to the sun. The health of people improve, and they find themselves moving towards a stable health state, having your placement in the 5th house.
Right.
The 5th house deals with, we said, the paternal grandfather, children, and knowledge. Now let's talk about the sun. The sun is exalted in Aries, which makes sense. Aries is number 1. The sun feels like it's number 1, the center of all things. It's debilitated in Libra. Oh, wet blanket head ass niggas. I'm so excited to get this Libra energy out of my progressive chart. I swear it's driving me nuts.
You know what? Libras, they're so fucking nonchalant, man.
They're people pleasers.
They're so chillax, man. They're so chillax, and they'll fall the fuck back so much on motherfucking life, y'all. Like
but that's not really how they feel. That's the crazy part. That's not how they feel, though. But that's what they'll give off, because that's what they feel like they have to give off.
Exactly. I have to check somebody on a daily basis about that. Like, why haven't you called me? Like, because I don't call nobody. What? You don't call nobody? What? I'm your mother.
Try again.
I'm your mother. I don't want to hear that. But you know, when he's home, he'll be up under me though, all day.
Them scales be different.
Yeah, you got me chasing you around like a girlfriend that's nutty and shit.
That's how my son be making me feel. That's
going
because
through withdrawals and shit. Yeah.
They always need a special invitation. The friends of the sun are, we talked about the moon being a friend of the sun. Mars is also a friend of the sun, which makes sense because it's exalted in Aries. And Jupiter is also the friend of the sun because we love good luck in our motherfucking experiences. One thing I do love to find is $1 on the street. You heard me. And I also like when people come and give me like little bits of knowledge. That's always fun too. And then the enemy of the sun is Saturn, because don't nobody like challenges. And then Venus is also the enemy of the sun because sometimes the materialism do get in the way. So, for the 5th house. So, what you got out, sis?
What, you want me to go over the 6th house, or you want to explain against the 5th house some more? What you got? I got what you need. Oh, where's sis go? Oh, damn. Okay. Okay, so the truth is that the 5th house is an important complement to the analysis of our personal sun. Okay, since the house is related to creativity and spontaneity, or even a place that often pulls us in because it brings us well-being, and therefore should always be taken into consideration with priority in a synthetic analysis. Okay, it symbolizes everything that has the potential to make us happy and creative, as well as our primary approach to children who participate in our lives. Look, I ain't gonna hold you, okay? I've always have to deal with something with some child, not even my own children, other people's children, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even be trying to be a part of the community like that no more or whatever from my little past traumas with other people's children, but somehow they all gravitate towards me, but whatever, okay? It's a sector of the chart that inspires more innocent feeling of love and the light relationships, the flirtations, the beach loves, the casual flirtations that connect us with people before we make something more serious officially. Yes, I can agree with that. And I love it there. Our first experiences of love and fun, carefree, and joyful sexual pleasures. Thus, relaxation is always permeating the issues. We're gonna move over to the 6th house. I don't know if sis asked me to do the 6th house or it's been on the 5th house, but I'm gonna move forward. We're gonna move forward, all right, y'all? Take a walk with me real quick. And I have 3 placements of my 5th house, though. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's strong up over here. Y'all don't mind the dog in the back. I think you're gonna have to cut that down, baby. Okay, so we're at the 6th house, which is ruled by Mercury. Service, routine, and health. There goes, it's screaming Virgo all over it. You know what I'm saying? It's screaming Virgo all over the sixth freaking house. The sixth house represents our concrete and practical knowledge, the adjustments we make throughout life, our sense of improvement, and our capacity or not to deal with adversity. It also associated with cleaning, maintenance, day-to-day life. Sound like some Virgo shit. It's always serving and doing some damn shit. And I hate routine, like I said. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm glad I got 2 placements. Sis, can you hear me? I thought you were saying something. Are you muted?
Oh, I didn't realize I was muted. I don't have any placements in the 6th house.
I do. I got doors.
I have no routine in my room whatsoever. And it's so crazy because I be craving a routine. It'd be like, ain't no routine for you. It's literally every time I try to schedule stuff, it feels almost intentional that things don't go out the way I plan. So I don't plan things anymore because it's like, why you keep hurting my feelings? When I was younger, I used to shut down. Like, I'm done for the rest of the day. This shit don't want to go to my way. Fuck it all. Burn bridges.
I'll trade you my two. I'll trade you my two six houses.
No, I really like my placements. I like mine. They're exactly where they need to be. I don't need no 6th house drama. Oh, that's the challenge realms. Well, I was about to lie to you, sis. I don't know.
Don't be lying to me, sis. Don't be lying to me. Don't gas me up.
Well, Saturn and Mercury, they like each other, so that's a good place for Saturn to be.
Right? Saturn, Mercury, and Venus, the little threesome, right?
Mm-hmm. What you don't want in your 6th house is you don't want the Pisces energy over the 6th house because like daily routine, forget about it. And you always wait until you're like emotionally drained to go to do what you got to do. And then there's also that gullibility. So people with Pisces, 6th house energy is like a lot of like, I'm just doing whatever other people tell me to do in my daily routine. And I'm just going with everybody else's flow. And it's not really much of self.
I think my 6 houses are pretty. I think they're pretty much in sync. Cool. Except for the Mars, like my moon is in the 6th house. Yeah, and my Mars is in my 6th house.
You said your moon is?
Yeah, my moon.
That's a harsh place for the moon to be as well. For the moon to be in the 6th house, because the moon is actually the enemy of Mercury.
Damn. Yeah, my Capricorn is in my moon, sis. My moon is in my Capricorn.
Okay, so that's your challenge with your emotions and applying it to the 6th house.
Okay. This is probably why I don't like expressing my emotions like that.
You get the BGs instead of expressing.
Like I get anxious, right?
Yeah, that's the gut feeling. Yeah, because the digestive system and all the stuff in that area is all associated with the 6th house energy. Instantly triggers.
This
is also the house of sickness, so be mindful of like headaches because you're dealing with that Pisces energy.
I used to deal with a lot of headaches. I used to deal with a lot of headaches or whatever, but then I changed my diet, which helped.
Respect.
Shit. It shows our work environment functions and the quality of our relationships with professional colleagues. I'm glad they said that. Yeah, because my professional relationships work out a lot more than my personal ones have. I'm just going to say that. Okay. Respect, though. Remember, always people on the outside of, my intimate relationships, I have better relationships with those people because those people respect boundaries. I will say that. Okay.
And that's probably because of what your interpersonal planets give off. So that's what we're about to get into. These houses that we just went over, houses 1 through 6, those were all personal houses, y'all. So those were the houses of your relationship with yourself amongst your own, So now that we get into the 7th house, now we're getting into the interpersonal planets. Now we're getting into your relationships with other people. Now the first interpersonal house. now we get out of our own, but see, all of my stuff is consolidated. All my personal houses is right there in Virgo, and then I got Mars over there in Gemini. We all in the same area.
You got enough of the servitude shit going on.
I just be over here yearning for some learning. That's all I do all day long. That's all I want to do, and I'm addicted to projects. I love making stuff and all that. So that's all personal stuff. So the first house out in the interpersonal realm is, of course, the 7th house. Now we're dealing with the Oba scales. The first relationship is your interpersonal relationships. And this is like how you deal with those one-on-one relationships, how important they are, what your perspective on them are. You know, if you have natal planets in this house, this is your tendency to be focused on relationships and partnerships in this realm. Transit planets going through this house helps you close deals and secure bonds and sign contracts and making things official. You know, this is Saturn's powerhouse. When you get into the story of the Orishas, Babalao walks around with the Oba scales, you know, for retribution or whatever, making sure your heart is as light as a feather in alignment with Mayat. So, you know, there's a whole tale about that. Which is, you know, we talked about that earlier, how Saturn is like uncovering a lot of delusions and stuff like that happening in Pisces energy with that 7th house, you know, strength. The uterus, the ovaries, the sperm, prostate gland, they're all under the 7th house, because 7th house deals with Venusian energy. And diseases of the face, venereal diseases, indigestion, throat trouble, diabetes, any type of sexual incompetence, like if you need, you know, super hard, you know, never mind.
Super hard?
No, I was making a joke about the honey packets in my head. You know what?
And you sounded out super hard. I just posted super hard today, y'all.
I ain't mad about the super hard. I get mad about the honey packet. Like, I don't know the science behind the honey packets, but because you broke down the super hard to me, I'm with the shits. But the honey packets, they sound like a placebo effect to me, if you will. And I'm just like, bro, like, why don't y'all just eat right and stop drinking alcohol and eating like heavy meats and shit? Then, you know, maybe your libido would be different. Like, niggas don't add 1 + 1 = 2. Because most of the dudes that I know
think about there's mucus forming up in the penis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there's a muscle there, and the mucus, like anywhere that your muscles are, you can form up mucus there. You know what I'm saying? Form up gas or all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? Extra fluid that needs not to be there. You know, all that shit. So, yeah, don't really think about that too much. And I really want to.
They be polluting their blood flow with the alcohol. Then they be smoking weed, and that be numbing the nervous system, so their neurons aren't, you know, making the connection. It's just mad shit. They be disconnected, and then they be sitting on the edge of the bed like, this doesn't usually happen.
They should be drinking the weed as a tea. They should be drinking the herbs as a fucking tea. It works better that way.
If you must smoke Damiana. Damiana is not only a really good herb to smoke that gives you the same effects as weed, but it also is an aphrodisiac.
Yeah, you can. I suggested to drink it as a fucking tea. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
tea and sex, pinkies up, hoes.
Because when you light that shit on fire, it does something to the molecule.
Yeah, agreed. They be trying to get doped up before they have sex, and that's ruining the 7th house. It makes your equilibrium off.
I believe that, you know, weed can slow you down, and it can make you lazy. You know what I'm saying? If you overindulge in it, if you just like take 1 or 2 hits and like get you a buzz, you know what I'm saying? I think you're good with right there, you know, because I used to smoke. I don't know. It's a different.
I don't see how people can smoke all day long. Like, I be around people that like smoke blunt after blunt after blunt, playing Danny Brown in the fucking background and shit, and I'd be like, I don't know how you can do that. Like,
because they're not really comfortable with themselves, like outside of weed. They like the feeling that weed gives them, but they don't like to feel themselves without the weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta learn to deal. It's something that you're running from within yourself. You know what I'm saying? The weed it's gonna bring it out, but yet, you know, it's gonna make you be like, well, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'll deal with it another day.
Yeah.
Type of thing. Instead of dealing with it today, like right now.
I agree. Because most of the dudes I talk to, they be like, I got anger problems. That's why I smoke weed. You don't got anger problems. You a crackhead, baby. And you start detoxing, you finna be mad at everybody.
Right. Yeah. Like, come on now. Like,
yeah, these dudes out here smoke weed. Like,
it's a
it's
different type
very
of
unattractive
weed.
how much they smoke weed. Like, it's not that deep, bro.
Yeah,
Life
this
is
is a
not
different
that
type of weed
hard.
because they still be angry, you know what I'm saying, under the influence of the weed. You know what I'm saying? So it's a like they're putting it's not the same strands as it was like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's not in this. I don't know. Even if you get it from the what you call it, dispensaries or whatever, I still don't believe like they grown the weed in its purest damn form. I think it's they're they're doing something still, adding something
Agreed.
still to give you these different effects. I could smoke some huff and be all right.
Listen, I'm
I'm
still a
still gonna
dirt
feel good.
smoker, and I mix my dirt with herbs. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
even be just smoking weed. Like we're doing a whole
Mm-hmm.
combo over here, cuz.
Right, with some lavender, whatever,
Hmm.
some
I
rose
can't do
petals.
lavender unless I'm ready to take it down, because lavender put me to sleep.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I gotta be
Oh,
ready to take it down. That's like a NyQuil. Like you can't wake up before it's over, or you're gonna have a headache. You
but
don't
you
want
know
to just
what?
play with the lavender.
Lavender, like if I smoke some lavender by itself, it really don't put me to sleep. But you know, I would, I think it does. It does.
Oh, what does it do? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Somebody called me. Oh gosh,
Oh, on a feminine
on my
tip
kid.
though, the seventh house also deals with like the cysts and the urethral diseases and the hernias
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Different stuff that women deal with. And so like I be trying to tell women, but they don't be trying to listen. Like your
Mm-hmm.
whole, seventh house deals with Venusian energy, but you also want to align that with your Olukun, your sacral chakra as well. We're gonna get into that house in a minute. But like you want to align with these different energies because you go to these hospitals and they not really in alignment with energy. Coming back to the mindset, like you're just looking at the effect. Like the effect is I got this cyst on in my womb, on my ovaries or whatever. And so you go into the doctor and all they doing is paying attention to the fact that you have a cyst, but nobody's talking about what's causing the cyst. Where's
Mm-hmm.
the imbalance? Cyst is an effect of, you see all these illnesses under the seventh house. That's because the seventh house deals with equilibrium and balance and harmony. So if you have any of these symptoms, it's because there's a disimbalance in your body somewhere, and this is how your body is choosing to react to that lack of balance. So you have to bring that balance back together. Like cis is like, a lot of these different things is just results of an imbalance of your pH level in your body. Your body's too acidic, so your body starts to mutate to that acidity. That's how you say
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's mutate, like in order for your body to adjust to acidity, it has to create extra barriers. So that means that the cell has to have extra walls around it. And they have to grow so fast. And they're
Mm.
growing so fast that in our minds we've labeled that, oh, that's a tumor. That's cancer, that's a cyst. Like
Yeah.
these are these different things, but in reality is your cells don't feel comfortable enough in their natural form in this environment, so it's creating extra barriers. And those extra barriers, because your body is not built for those extra barriers, is causing disruptions in your flow, in the water flow,
Right.
whether it's your body fluids, your blood, whatever.
Right.
So that's that energy with the seventh house.
Okay. Cool beans.
And we already talked about whose Venus friends are. Venus is friends with Pisces and
Mm-hmm.
Saturn and Mercury. Venus don't really like anybody else.
Nah, she don't.
Mm-mm.
So, with our eighth house, we have our shared resources. And eighth house is ruled by dun, 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 Pluto.
Oh, one more thing about the seventh house. So going
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
the Vedic chart, the
Mm-hmm.
seventh house is associated with your spouse, because we're talking about one-on-one relationships. So your spousal relationships and your maternal grandmother.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing in those. So I guess I ain't gonna have no spouse.
You know what's cool about that? My maternal grandmother is actually a Libra.
Really?
Yeah, we be going at it, cuz. But go ahead, let's talk about the eighth house.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything in my 7.
The eighth house is actually a malefic house. It's one of the negatives. Don't nobody want no eighth house placements anywhere. Sixth house, eighth house, and 12th house. Those are the dun 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 houses.
Well, I got the dun dun dun. I got the dun 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 in the Pisces.
What do I got in the eighth house?
I got the Pisces and the dun 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 dun. Dum 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 dum.
You got all of them jewels.
Yeah. I actually married one of them fuckers. Anywho, the 8th house carries a great psychological charge in its theme, representing intimate relationships and the great emotional transformations that result from them. Did you find your 8th house?
I do not have any 8th house plates. I don't have any 8th house placements, but my 8th house is in Pisces.
Like mine.
Yay.
You said yay. We know who to stay away from. Okay.
For real.
It can be compared to the witch's cauldron or the alchemist's furnace. Tell me about it.
Damn it, man.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, that was our meeting, our group in the safe space.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. What do we have something today? Oh shit.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. It called twice. Okay. It is the place of crisis, and changes that occur in secret, transmutes in the innermost beings. In the 8th house, that's so emotionally tapped into though. In the 8th house, the commitment we make in the 7th worldly house becomes tangible. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, the house after it affects the one before, or the one before affects the house after. I don't know.
Yeah, they do. They flow into each other.
That's crazy. In the 8th house, the commitment we make in the 7th worldly house becomes tangible. We go through experiences that make us part of a demanding and larger entity, which is the we. In other words, the issues of this house refer to marked help me out, sis. Existential issues.
Oh, existential?
Yes. Existential issues such as severe illnesses, the dangers of life, fear of death, sexual involvement and reproduction, large debts and finances, among others. Yeah, man, you ain't lying about that shit.
Yeah, my Pluto is in Scorpio. Pluto placements are crazy. We was talking about your astrocartography chart earlier. I'm in my Pluto placement too on the East Coast. So it's just like extreme occurrences over here.
So we need to go to the West.
Yeah, we need to go to the West. That's where the Jupiter and the Saturn resides. Or we gotta go to the other hemisphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time to go to the other side.
The West always been calling me, sis. The West always been calling me.
Yeah, I've been wanting to experience it.
I've always, the West always been calling me. That's where I need to be.
And then I've been like getting into like my dreams and stuff that I've had when I first thought about Arizona and buying land, and how I was thinking like we gotta go over there and we gotta create like a new like quote unquote mound type space, like another sacred space. It's like we got to create new sacred spaces on this plane because the older ones have been polluted. And I know people are so hell-bent on reliving history, but we must understand there's a reason, and that's in alignment with the 8th house. The 8th house deals with the rise and fall of nations. And we must realize that we look back to learn about what not to do and what to keep doing. And that's the beauty of the Sankofa season too, is we're looking back and we're expounding. We're not looking back to completely, like, it would be so silly for us to sit here and do the same exact episode we just did on the first season about houses. You know what I'm saying? Like, No, you look back, take that information and expand on it, not just keep looking back to for repetition, because there's a reason why those nations fell. And you got to look into eighth house placements, and you got to look into Pluto placements and Scorpio placements to have those level of realizations of like, oh, why did the power fall? Why did the pendulum swing back? Whatever, what have you. And I think that's what like our Aboriginal cultures, that's what they hung up on. We want to look back on different empires that we had that look beautiful in alignment with what we think beauty is today, not realizing that beauty is indoctrination. And there's some shadow work to be done there too, which the eighth house also deals with, the shadow work of things, because, you know, why is that the beauty of today and why was that the beauty of before? And then also taking some level of accountability for how we've influenced, you know, energies around us, you know, to move how they're moving. Like, okay, accountability in how capitalism is the way it is, and how commerce is the way it is, and how separatism is the way it is. Like, it's some level of accountability in that. But that all deals with the eighth house energy. Eighth house also deals with your butt, your bladder, sex, your external genitalia. Whereas like the seventh house dealt with more so with the inward makings of your reproductive system, the eighth house is now like your external makings of your reproductive system. Mutilation, so Scorpio energy is like the circumcision realms of things too. Long-term illnesses, so you check your eighth house placements and your Pluto placements to check for your long-term illnesses. We've talked about Pluto a lot, you know, when we did our Pluto episode, and I was telling y'all about my revelations on Pluto and how I got hit on Halloween and all that stuff like that.
You really got deep into it, sis. You to a microscopic level,
because Pluto has been wild for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really crazy death weekend for people in my family. Like, a lot of people in my family have died on October 28th. That's a crazy day in my family. October 28th and November 28th. It's like a portal is opened in my lineage, and that's when people just go to the other side. I got uncles that passed, my brother, my god brother, cousins, all October 28th. It's a really big day in the portal. And then my Sagittarius family, they pass off like November 28th.
Don't let, how you add that up? 1028.
1028 is like, that's 11.
11, yeah.
That's 11. It's also with 2 Libra scales. And then 11, 11, 28, that's 12. You know, that's 3. So they probably the ones that reincarnate. They tried to take me out on a 1031, y'all. That's wild. It's like, ooh, wrong date.
We'll try again next lifetime.
Right. We fucked up. Go back.
And you, sis, look, now that we talking about like when you was going over to Pluto or whatever, you was like, sis, am I about to, like, I just want to know if I'm gonna die and my kids gonna be straight. I'm like, sis, not gonna die. Not this year, not next year.
Just making sure, because my progressive chart is fitting to be like locked in on Scorpio. My Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus about to all be in Scorpio, and that's my draconic chart. My draconic chart is my Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, all in Scorpio. So it's like, if the progressive chart lock in with the draconic chart, what portal is fitting to be open? Especially with me over here in my Pluto placement. Like, what's finna happen,
Pluto
y'all?
In Scorpio too. My Pluto in Scorpio too. So
yeah, my Pluto's in Scorpio too. So it's kind of like a pathway being opened up for my draconic and my progressive to come through my tropical. So what is about to happen there? Like, is it going to be hard to lock in? Am I going to like ascend and my spirit going to be like, yeah, I'm about to fuck shit up? Like, what's finna happen?
You about to fuck motherfuckers up with sex, sis.
With sex?
Sex for relationships,
I've been interested in getting into the tantric thing. I've been trying to manifest that. I want more intentional energy exchanges. And I started attracting people that were in alignment. They were just what do you call them? Incubus. So like they had the knowledge, but they were trying to use it to manipulate me. And it was like, oh, y'all thought I'm not dumb. I just haven't done it yet. Like, I'm a knowledge hoarder. I'm not much of a knowledge exerciser. I'm working on the exercise part. But
I have some more right here that I wanted to read up on too.
On the 8th house?
Yeah.
Oh, say that. What's up?
Let's see. Oh, I lost my space. I lost my spot. Okay, so the eighth house, mundane, is commonly referred to as the house of sex, which deepens relationships and interactions with others, and how certain aspects of these interactions can take on a nature common to both as a shared aspect. And I really do feel that Pisces feel like they can connect with you. Like the first thing I want to do to connect with you is fuck you. All right, like at least with the
You
man,
know, that's
no fucking
their
lie.
yeah,
'Cause
that's their superpower.
that's their superpower, right?
They're incubus. I
Uh
spent this last year dating Scorpios. It was crazy how many was coming to me at the same time. I had a good time. It was fun. It's
Yeah.
just like I had a good time.
Because what? Scorpio's ruled by Pluto. Scorpio rules over Pluto, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
they
That's
have
Scorpio
Scorpio
moon.
experiences. But that's
When
the
I
thing,
got with that
okay.
Scorpio moon, that's exactly what it did.
Okay, you said the Scorpio moon. Okay, their internals, their comfortable self with Scorpio. Because I was about to say them Scorpio suns, they not everything you think they are. That's the thing. Like coming back to the fact that the sun is the ego. Like y'all think y'all Scorpios, but y'all not really Scorpios. I'm kind of bored. Yawn. But like I see the energy y'all try to give off because Scorpio is your ego. You
Right.
know, it's kind
So
of
what's
like
them ascendings though? What's them ascendings in the moons
yeah,
though?
what's the
What they
ascending?
hitting
Because
like?
that's what you really is. That's the temperament you giving on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one dude he was a Virgo rising with the Scorpio. I was like, ooh,
They ain't bad.
no, Mercury and Pluto is a no for me. That's
Mm.
too much extremity with the overthinking and the over analyzing, and then you know how Virgos go into a depressive mode because we'll go into our own black hole. I can't
Yep.
deal with that on the Pluto level. That's a lot. I didn't realize how much it was until I was in the presence of it, and I was like, "Damn, is this a reflection of me? You doing too much. You gotta go, baby." But the
Oh, they
sex
be
was
removing
amazing.
themselves. Yeah, they be emotionally unavailable then.
Yeah, it's a lot of overthink. They'll overthink themselves out of things.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, cool. Like I do that too. So I get
Yeah.
it, but I don't want to
But you gotta
tolerate
come
her in
up
my
out of there. Yeah, you
space.
can't stay there too long. You gotta
That's
get
my
it together.
job.
That's how the Virgo in you be like, yeah, you can't stay in there too long, sis. You gotta get up out of there.
Yeah, because I do that
We
to
got some more serving to
myself.
do. We got
Yeah.
work to do.
Yeah, like we can only sit here and wallow for so long and then we gotta get up because it's people calling our names.
Yeah, that's codependent.
For real. But yeah, the eighth house, that's a negative house. That's difficulties. It has difficulties with the first house. So any type of Mars or Aries placement in Pluto, or any type of Scorpio with the Aries Mars is be careful with that because they going to jail. They going, that's where they going. And if you want to go to jail with them, that's where you going. And just be
Shared
careful with
resources because you
the
going to jail
you
with them.
going into shared resources for real. Y'all going to jail. Or
Oh, you going to jail,
y'all
cuz.
going to hell together. One of two things that's happening.
Shit, especially if you had sex with them, shit, you fuck them, yeah, y'all going together, yeah, y'all locked
It's
in for life.
anybody with very exalted Pluto placements, because Pluto is in alignment with when you get into Vedic, they only give notice to like 9 planets, so it's not really much room for like Pluto and Neptune. They don't really give them that energy, and instead they give a planet 2 zodiacs. So when you think about Pluto, when you think about Scorpio, you're not thinking about Pluto per se. You're thinking about Mars, and Mars is ruling over Aries and Scorpio. So yeah, like that in its home space is wild. Getting into the ninth house, speaking of fire, ninth house is dealing with Sagittarius energy. Now we in that space of travel and philosophy, higher education. If you have natal planets in the ninth house, this is having like that inquisitive energy. 9 is associated with knowledge, and mathematics. This
What's
is,
the mathematics, God?
yeah. And you'll see that the houses are in alignment with numerology. I should have addressed that. My bad, y'all. Anyway,
Only got
but
one
like,
nine.
Yeah, but that's an easy way for y'all to remember the houses and the planets, because the planets are in alignment with the houses and they're in alignment with the zodiacs. They're all this, same energy, just different, placements. And so, because these are the main essential energies that we deal with, and like I told y'all, I tell y'all all the time, I think about life as chemical equations. So these are the main components on the chemical, on the element board or whatever,
Right.
and this is how you mix and match them and the different results you get. And so the ninth house helps you when transit houses come through here, is like studying a new topic, or if you want to move to a foreign location or adopt a different perspective or a philosophy on something. Law, religion, ethics, cross-cultural relationships, all of that comes out of this. Also broadcasting and publications. Now, if you know the story of like Sagittarius and Jupiter and Obatala, you know that this energy is associated with the sacral chakra. So it talks about like the effects of overabundance in this realm, in the ways of like gambling, playing around with your luck, being optimistic, over giving, or overindulging in that sacral chakra energy of feeling good. This, physically speaking, this energy rules over the hips, thighs, your nerves, and your arteries. It symbolizes your knees, your thighs, your joints, and your bones, and the diseases of your bones that are related to your teeth, your skin, your eyesight, your mental worry, your wounds, paralysis, tumors, and baldness. That's all ninth house energy.
Who
So
ruling over the ninth house again?
you know the story of Batala, like, sacral chakra is like when you overindulge, like say you like eat too much sugar. And so now you got the diabetes. That's sacral chakra. That's Jupiter. It's like it's too much optimism, too much indulgence, and the result of said indulgence. That's why Sagittarius is associated with Christmas spirit, Christmas time, because one or two things can happen in the Christmas spirit. You could either be overactive in the Christmas spirit, where you're overgiving, overindulging, overeating, or under, and that under also leads to depression, suppression, the suicide, that level of transformation and endings and stuff like
The
that.
winter blues.
That's the mental worry, the mental worry and the wounds and stuff like that.
Be worrying for what though? You know what I'm saying? Like I used to get that shit. Thought it was damn, seasonal bipolarism or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's not only me that was going through it.
It's the repression of the sacral chakra, because us as solar beings, we don't get, during the winter solstice, we don't get to indulge in all the stuff that we get to do in the summer solstice when it's our time. So being on this polar side, how you feel in the middle of the summer versus how you feel in the middle of winter. It's like being on the opposite pole of things. So it's a matter of rising above this energy and finding an equilibrium, more so than it is falling privy to it. So if you have ninth house placements, like, this is where you'll really be dealing with those things.
But I love the winter time though. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't like, the feeling of when it first, like within the first few weeks, the effects of it.
Oh, when it first settles in.
Yeah,
that's because you're ascending fixed sign. Leo is fixed. So the energy of transitions is kind of difficult.
Yeah.
I'll be going to sleep. Let me know when we get let me know when we
I be
couple
working.
degrees
I be
in.
overworking myself by then. I was like, yeah, I gotta get it.
Nah, during transits, I'm either fighting my sleep or I'm going to sleep. There's not really much in between that, Joan. I ain't gonna hold you.
So the ninth house is the third house ruled by the fire elements. Marks the beginning of a new identity cycle. It provides experiences for us to learn and discover who we really are, especially in the characteristics of transcendence. That is the aspect of our existence that go beyond our biography.
This is the house of the father.
The father.
Your father relationship.
My father's relationship.
Jupiter gets along with Cancer. If your Moja and your Sagittarius energy is in alignment, and you can get into the story of, Genesis or whatever, when like Olukun is who is associated with being married with your Moja, and you know, when Olukun was trying to like do the great flood situation, and they ended up putting Olukun at the bottom of the ocean with the chains and stuff like that. And then there's another version of the story that says the Emoja was actually the one that came down and spoke to Olukun and helped him chill out. And he was like, all right, I ain't gonna flood y'all, whatever. So you had that alignment of the feminine side of your third eye, perception, your moon energy, Cancer, in alignment with your sacral chakra. And they say your moja is in alignment with Mayat. So if you apply that level of discipline from your third eye down to your sacral chakra, it'll help you with this equilibrium and rising above all things of the ninth house. So that's that tale. A lot of times we listen to the personifications of deities and we think about them outside of ourselves, but that's how you can apply it within.
Indeed.
It's debilitated in Capricorn. Capricorn be like, nah, fuck that optimism. We ain't got time for that.
Oh, it's commonly referred. Oh, yeah. So the ninth house is also referred to the house of God.
Because Jupiter was the creator. That was the, you know, the primordial water. Sometimes they give Olukun the energy of Obatala with the formation of land and bodies and people. I said PP.
Right.
And people. Obatala rules over the sacral chakra.
Yeah, it does say that. It's nothing like the primordial identity of our birth, our first appearance in the world. House one themes, nor the creative expression of individuality. Has me thinking a lot. It's giving me mermaid vibes. Okay? It's giving me King Trident.
The Nomos, the Nagas, the what do they call them? The little chimeras that came out and was teaching the Sumerians and stuff. The sages, the 7 sages.
Yes, indeed.
That's what is given, because you know, Sagittarius energy is the sea goat. So it's the water animal, the water goat. It's like a water Capricorn.
Oh, the sea goat. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So it is given like yeah.
So what more to think about when it comes to the ninth house, and like, you know, is the search for meaning, a broader and less trivial or banal direction, a purpose for greater than the individual self, something that transcends the personality of itself. It's the deep and mature adult understanding of thinking to deal with the questions of existence and identity. Okay, so that's when you reach your mature stages of life or whatever. Like your Saturn, you know, when you get up in your Saturn ages. Yeah. That's why Jupiter and Saturn fuck with each other.
Right. It's like more like self-realizations in your interpersonal skills. Like, what am I doing? How am I making my mark in society? What am I doing out here?
What's the purpose of my life? Why am I here? Why was I made?
Start expanding your philosophies on things. Start uprooting some of your root chakra energy. Then you come up here and stuff like that. Getting into the 10th house. Now we in the Capricorn house. We in the Gizmo. This is the apex. This is the highest point in the midheaven. And we're going to talk about the midheaven a lot when we get into the different house systems. Because there are different ways that the houses are indeed calculated. But this house rules over the height of your success and your public image, your professional aspirations, and your career achievements. Now, if you have natal planets in this house, I believe my midheaven is in Taurus energy. And there are certain house charts that do not have the 10th house being the midheaven house. Because the midheaven is literally like astronomical speaking, it's the pole. You know, when you look up, it's the pole in certain house calculations. So you'll see certain house calculations tell you that your midheaven is in a different space, and then you'll see some that'll tell you that your midheaven is in the 10th house every time. It depends. But planets transiting through this house encourage want to make a change in your professional life, career, long-term goals, structure, status, reputation, expertise, fame, masculine energy, public image, corporations, traditions. As far as like the body parts that this energy rules over, we're talking about the knees, joints, teeth, skin. It has the same functions as the ninth house, as Vedic speaking. It is Jupiter that rules over the ninth and 10th house. Jupiter and Saturn kind of play around between the next like 3 planets or 3 energies: Sagittarius, Capricorn, Pisces, and Aquarius. Those 4 energies get kind of fuzzy with the combination of these 2 planets because this was before Neptune and Uranus, so we kind of play around with timetables with that. So some stuff I say might sound wrong, but it depends on what time period we talking about. And time is not linear to me, so excuse my spiral speaking. But so the 10th house deals with the masculine energy, the joints and teeth, the skin, diseases like stomach pain, blindness, wounds, joint pain, bone fractures, and stuff like that. So if your structure is incorrect and your discipline is incorrect, it'll show in your bones and your teeth. And that makes sense. If you don't brush your teeth every day, guess what? Them teeth finna be fucked up, cuz you don't want to I do say that to you every day. If you don't want to do yoga every day in your daily routine, you don't want to have certain kind of things going on, your knees and your joints and stuff, your bones, they're going to be messed up. Not paying attention to your diet, all
Tell me about it.
certain traditions and routines and stuff like that, that's going to affect your success in this realm of things. Now it depends on what planet you have in your 10th house. Like, what do I have in my 10th house?
I ain't got no 10th, sis.
You ain't got no 10th house? Let me see.
I got them, but my knees, they be hollering.
Oh, my Mars is in my 10th house.
My knees been hollering because I was doing hydraulics back in 94.
Jesus Christ.
A lot of hydraulics.
My Mars is in Gemini in the 10th house. So utilizing my solar plexus in my communication realms and my Gemini realms is what's going to bring me success. And when I suppress that part in self, it'll show in these physical forms. And that's probably why I got hit by a car. I'm still trying to figure out why the fuck I got hit by a car.
You don't be listening to your gut instinct, sis?
Sometimes I don't, because you know what? When I got hit, I was on my way to a space that I didn't even want to go to, because I told myself I didn't want to do, no offense to anybody in Philly, but I told myself I didn't want to do any more Philly events. And I was on my way to a rehearsal for a Philly event. And I was like, this is going to be the last one. It's going to be the last one.
So you reneged?
I reneged on myself. I reneged on my 10th house and got hit by a car.
Damn. Always listen to self. Especially that gut intuition. I believe our gut is our first damn brain.
Right.
For real. You don't listen to shit. That gut out of whack. That solar plexus out of whack. Everything else is just gonna go downhill.
Right. This 10th house deals with your root chakra. It's exalted in Libra. And I told y'all that, Saturn loves to be in the 7th house. And balance is key here. If you have balance in your 10th house, you be good. If you don't have balance, you're not gonna be good. And then is debilitated in Aries. So like that, like I could do it. That warrior energy being all over the place, that can mess up the 10th house. And that's probably, so that's probably the Gemini and Mars, because that's Saturn and Mars combination. So I debilitate myself in my solar plexus. Interesting. And then, right, the friends of Saturn is Mercury and Venus. So, any combinations between those 3 beings is a good vibe. And then Saturn don't like anybody else. It's only if it ain't Libra, Mercury, and Venus, we're not really fucking with the rest of them. Okay, Saturn gonna make it difficult.
Indeed, because it definitely is a challenge.
Right? Yeah, challenge everywhere. But our minds love challenges. Like I low key love puzzles like Sudoku and playing chess and shit. Like I like mind games. So that's why Mercury and Saturn get along. And Venus is like, Mercury and Venus is like discipline and order and
you like playing mind games
and all that. I do like playing mind games. You know what I like to do to people? I like to stare at them. And there's different reasons behind the stare. Like sometimes when I'm on the stage and I'm performing juju music, I'll stare at the people that look the most uncomfortable. I like that in the mind game. It's fun for me.
I used to step into the elevator facing forward and just look at everybody. And
You
everybody
can say
just be
hi
looking.
and then get out of here.
They trying to be all in their phone. Hey, what's up, nephew?
All right, get out of here.
He's so sweet.
He
Oh
is.
my gosh. So adorable.
My little baby.
But like, who's sweet?
Oh yeah, the 10th house deals with the mother-in-law, y'all. That's the mother-in-law relationship. Now for the 11th house. Tell us a little bit about the 11th house, girl.
To the 11th house, which is ruled by Uranus. It's about our friends, groups, and hope. Hope and prosperity. I like that. The collective, okay? So in the 11th house, we experience the possibility of integrating ourselves into something larger than just our fame and social image, okay? It is the area of life where our social achievements are relativized before ourselves and humanity. The 11th house, therefore, signifies our future projects and, in a way, our legacies regarding the future. Oh, did we do Uranus already?
I don't think we went back on Uranus.
We didn't go back on Uranus? Okay, I thought we had discussed it briefly or what have you.
We might have. Talking about other planets.
I think it was like a question that was asked of me or whatever, like how do I want to be remembered when oh my bad, I was on another interview with Craig. That's what it was, and he asked me how would I want to be remembered when I leave the earth. But that definitely is a Uranus question, okay, right there. And I had to think like, dang, like I don't know, like I really didn't have too much of an answer for it, but it's like, just shit. I wasn't gonna try to save the world no more.
Right. I'm not finna be y'all martyr because I see the way y'all be talking about everybody else that got shot and hung in front of y'all, and I don't.
Right.
That ain't enough love for me.
Okay. Yeah, ain't about to assassinate me out this bitch.
For real. Ain't enough accountability for me. Like somebody had told me too. I don't know if it was a dialogue I had with you, but it was somebody, and they was like, well, somebody had walked up and helped Jesus carry the cross. Are you kidding me? I'll beat your ass. I wish you would help me. Do you done watch these motherfuckers pull me out my mama crib, leave my ass in the middle of the street, and you gonna help me carry the cross they finna hang me on? And I'm supposed to be like, thanks, bro.
Calvary. Right. You gonna help me carry to my death? As
soon as I die, I'm hunting all y'all niggas. And that's why when they pulled the stone back, he was gone. Cause listen, prophecy fulfilled. I'm hunting everybody. Everybody getting haunted. You ready? I'm in the underworld now with my daddy. Like, bro, what's up? Y'all fucked up.
That shit is crazy.
I got the keys to hell now. What's good?
That's crazy, right? Like you gonna help me to my death.
Y'all really sat there and was crying. Like it was 3 niggas jumping me, and it's like 20 of y'all standing around crying. I'm hunting everybody.
Where's all my disciples, man? Like shit.
Right. Y'all was chilling with me when I had the fish and the bread, bro. Y'all was chilling with me when I had 5, the wine.
This should have been 5,000. Y'all motherfuckers showed up.
For real. Y'all was with me when I was giving y'all the flesh of my flesh.
The blood of my blood.
See, that's that Virgo shit for you. That's how you know Jesus is a Virgo Pisces head ass nigga. Because he had to been a Pisces rising now. Or a Pisces moon. He was a Virgo sun, Pisces moon. It's son. He was the combination of Michael Jackson and Prince. He was up there.
Right. Maybe.
I'm a Gemini, Virgo, Pisces.
You have to Google his. Well, we don't know Jesus' time of birth.
Yeah, I need the. Midnight on December 17th or the 21st. It's one of them.
Nah, September, sis.
Oh yeah, September. What if it was September 19th? That'd be fun.
3 and 3. Let's see. Hold on. He might have been born on the 6th of September.
6th of September.
Yeah, I'm thinking about he died 33, 3 and 3, 6, whatever. You know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna figure it
I'm
out.
gonna look that up.
We're gonna find out when was Jesus born. We're gonna go back. Oh, I think we doing the
Ask the
Mobites
Jehovah's
to
Witnesses
niggas
when you were
joint.
born.
Oh yeah, because they have been knocking.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see. We are doing the Mobites to niggas episode over again, I believe. So yeah, we're gonna find out when Jesus was born, and we're gonna get into that because that is a question.
That indeed is a thought-provoking question. Just as the 5th house represents the liberation of energy accumulated by the 4th house, the 11th house represents the liberation of power and creativity accumulated in the 10th house and brings experience through friendships and collectivity. I like the 11th house. I always want to do things with my friends.
It's all about your friendships. 11th house also deals with older siblings, your income and gain, social justice, surprises, and sudden events. So stuff inside of the 11th house is like crazy, revolutionary things happening. So Pluto being on the cusp between Capricorn and Aquarius is a wild experience. People are anticipating Pluto entering Aquarius energy next year, especially because it's happening during election time in November. So I'm very curious. I heard rumors that this year is the last president thing situation as we know it. So I'm kind of curious of what they
dictatorship or monarchy. What we're gonna have? Communism? I mean, what?
Either way, I don't give a fuck. I mean, they still gonna do the stage. They gotta still do the stage because the majority of the voters are old niggas. Like the young kids out here, Pluto is an Aquarius. They don't give a fuck about what they shown on TV. They're gonna have to remix what they doing for these kids when they turn 18. They're gonna have to have a whole new thing. Like Zeke's generation is about to be 18 next year. So whatever Zeke's generation wants and whatever they're doing, because they're going to be the vote. Because when you turn 18, you want to vote. You still in that
Jordan's turning 18 next year too.
Yeah, they're going to catch that generation. Whatever it is that they want. Right, we get old out here in these streets.
Nah, they getting old.
They getting old. But yeah, they're the solar plexus of the empire right now. So it's whatever they want to do. If they don't want to do this shit no more, we're not going to do this shit no more. And you figure it's crazy because we have, I don't know what the hell Biden is. Biden is Pluto. You know what? Out here fucking, he a clone. So that made me think of Pluto because Pluto's about regeneration and shit. He gotta be a Pluto Neptune head ass.
Old swole head ass motherfucker.
Yeah, old draconic head ass. So
right. See a cake around that motherfucker right now.
He over there shape shifting, eating ice cream right now.
Hold on, just a cloak with about the little fan up on the cake.
Oh, Voldemort. He's slowly shape shifting into Voldemort. He's starting to look like, what was that vampire's name? Nosferatu.
I don't know that one.
Nosferatu. That's the original vampire, the one that looked like a rat mouse in the black and white movies and shit.
Oh, with the Willow's Peak.
Yeah,
down deep.
Yeah, that's my man.
He would have a Willow's Peak if he wasn't
out there fucking poking kids and shit. Like, nigga, don't no kid want to be touched by you. These little kids out
weird
here
ass out of here.
So I think that I believe in my spirit that because the 18-year-olds, just like, when we turned 18, well, I know you're a little bit older than me, but when I turned 18 was when Obama came into office. That was my 18th year. So it was like, of course, even the Albions are interested in that level of diversity because the Albions are listening to hip hop too. So they have to say once upon a time, our idols were the Albions, but now we see that pendulum swinging where there's a lot of Albion youth that look up to the Aboriginals now. Like, I want to do the rap music. There's level of awareness, even in the spiritual realm. Everybody's coming back to, the Orishas and the mothers for the knowledge and the whatever.
They're definitely coming back. They're definitely
it's coming back. The pendulum is swinging back to the Aboriginals. So it's it's whatever our generation want to do, and it looks like our generation. Does your son give a fuck? Because I haven't heard an 18-year-old give a fuck yet.
My son don't give no fucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my kids don't care about that stuff. So I don't know what they're gonna. They're really gonna have to.
Fucks back then. I mean, what? 18 is 9.
18, I cared. 18, I cared. I was hype about Obama.
Oh, well, I was 22 when Obama came. So at 18, who was in office? It had been still, I mean, it had been George
It was
W. Bush.
Bush. Yeah, that doesn't
You
sound
know
like
I
a
wasn't giving
fun
no fuck.
election year. Yeah, I wouldn't have gave a fuck neither. That was not the time to give a fuck.
Definitely wasn't giving a fuck, you know. Not at all.
But
Shit,
2008 was a big awakening too, because that's when Neptune entered Pisces. So to have that unlock at that year and then have such a big influx of 18-year-olds, because that was a big influx. 19, it's a lot of 1990, 1989 babies out here. So, having that influx around that, as above, so below, man, for real, for real. In a nutshell, like the divine alignments.
It is.
So I'm excited to see, what our kids transmute, because I feel like our kids are going to transmute things that we haven't even thought of, because we still don't think outside of those boxes, even within, our desires of wanting to recreate, our empires that we had once upon a time, which I still don't fucking understand why. But like, even in that mindset, we still go back to those hierarchies of authority and try to implement them in our organizations. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we got the village. It has to be an Indian chief. It has to be people here, this, and this. But our children, they don't have that sense of those things. So it's interesting to see, because they're
more
turning 18
interactive,
with
like
that
with each
mindset.
other. Yeah, they're all about like group activities and shit at that age. You know what I'm saying? Like group interaction, shit like that. Like, I don't think at 18 I was looking for like leadership. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to know more or whatever and participate more shit with my friends. Probably a whole lot of nut shit, but whatever.
And I also believe that, COVID was also a divine alignment for that level of youth too. Because let's think about it. Like, the math is not mathing to me, but when I think about COVID, I think that happened during my son's like 8th grade year, 7th, 8th grade year. And a lot of parents resorted to pulling their children outside of school. It was a blockage. It was a lot of air energy, a lot of blockage towards children staying in that indoctrination for a whole 4 or 5 years, which would have been the last set of roots being put into the sacral chakra of our children. They didn't get a chance to indoctrinate that stage of our children because COVID happened.
You know what I believe? I believe that a lot of people had a lot of resistance towards wanting to homeschool their kids. Like, they really didn't want to do it because they're used to this traditional and this damn structure.
Yeah.
The structuralization of the, placement of the public school system or whatever, school system that they, within their buildings and shit, like away from them. But me, shit, I was happy as fuck. I'm like, yeah, this is what I've been wanting to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get it. Because I'd rather for my children to be at home and me implanting the seeds in their heads what I feel is necessary for them to know, because you're just learning repetitive shit over and over again every fucking year within this public school system, and some parents just don't want to do that fucking work, but it is what it is. I get it or whatever, but I mean, because some people have to go to a 9 to 5, traditional 9 to 5 or whatever, need daycare, or they ain't got time to make sure that the kids got to do all this. But everything was shut down though, so you had to be in that space with the children. And I think a lot of people don't really want to be around their children and teach them that shit, because guess what? That shit was passed along so many generations with their parents and their parents or whatever, So.
And then you got to think about their Pluto placements. Their Pluto placements are in, if ours is in Scorpio, that means that theirs was in Libra and Virgo, that workaholic energy. Theirs was in Leo, being that courageous, like warrior, like energy as well. So like they have their mindsets, their like nation type of energy in that realm. And then thinking about their Capricorn placement too. Our Capricorn, like mine particularly, my Saturn placement is in Capricorn. So their Saturn placement would have been maybe like like a 6th degree before that. So what is that? That's back in Cancer, Gemini. So it's like they have
Dancers like to
like
be around their family and shit, though, don't they? They found family.
exactly, but what does their indoctrination say about family? The mother looks
Yeah.
like this. The mother, as an adult, behaves like this.
Mm-hmm.
She has this in order. Ba, 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 ba.
Mm-hmm.
It's the indoctrinate. See, like our generations before us, they got those planetary placements. At the same token, their chakras were controlled by the public school system, the television, the
Mm-hmm.
indoctrination, the social construct. Whereas when our generation came up, and then was the TV in public education, but the TV kind of put some. I don't know. I realize that not everybody watched TV cartoons the same way I did, but like a lot of the cartoons I watched were revolutionary. It was all
Mm-hmm.
about going against the grain and teaching more and expounding and stuff like that. Whether like the way I interpreted Wishbone episodes, going back how he went back in time, and I'm like, why the fuck? The history story is wild. And then, Carmen Sandiego, the different places of where she would go to and paying attention to the culture around there. A
Yeah, I used to
Bug's
watch
Life,
them. Oh, you know
Ants,
what I used to watch?
Secret of
Ren
Nim.
1010.
Oh, yeah.
I used to like the
Corduroy,
Adventures of Ren 1010. Yeah, Carmen Diego
Rupert,
was one. What's another one? Oh shit. It wasn't even
Captain Planet.
it was like a what they call it, Bug? When it's not a cartoon, what they
The
no, not that.
Claymations.
I was watching like AJ's Time Travelers.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to Google that because I have not seen AJ's Time Travelers on, but that's the shit I was on when I was a kid. The Adventures of Alex Mack, shit like that. I wasn't really cartoony until probably like when I reached my preteen and teenage years. But that's the type of shit I was on.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, it was like Muppets. It was like Allegra's Window and shit. A lot of Muppet stuff. What's the face? Alan
Damn, that
Strange was my
94.
favorite. I liked Alan Strange. I always wanted to learn how to
Alex
read books
Strange,
like
that was my
him.
shit.
Like, let me just put my hand on top of books and read that whole joint.
That's the superpower I wanted to have. I was like, yo. But really you are. We just not reading it that fast. But you're putting your hand, you're touching the book. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They just made it to where, it was God, like, where he can just touch it and that's it. Like, he downloaded this information. But we kind of do that now, though. It's we download the information now, on the computer.
Right.
But you
and that's a lot of our
but
exactly.
You got to read through it.
That's a divine revelation though, especially with Aquarius energy being about like publications and even like Gemini energy being in association with like electronic communication and stuff, and some of us have those placements too. Third house placements and stuff like that. But it's all in alignment of like the generations and how the generations are being born and raised. Like we got to be expanded a little bit with the television and stuff like that. It brought different levels of social awareness with the entertainment.
Yeah, because a lot of stupidity wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying? What they're putting in a lot of the children's cartoons and shit now, or a lot of their entertainment, like is watered down and is not really it's not teaching them anything. It's not giving them like other thoughts outside of what the fuck they're looking at, unless it's something like some weird shit, some weird type of shit, you know what I'm saying? Like what we used to watch. Like, okay, for example, Powerpuff Girls. All right. I used to watch Powerpuff Girls. I love Powerpuff Girls. When they had bought that him shit on there, I was like, everybody made fun of that shit though, because we sensed, you know what I'm saying? We had a spiritual discernment that it was weird ass energy, you know what I'm saying, with that specific character, you know what I'm saying? It was like, what the fuck is that? And that's how they treated it in the episodes as well, But now that him is coming out in so many different images and it's transformed so much and now it's more acceptable to where it is the norm now.
Yeah, those like silly cartoons. I know exactly what you're talking about because that's around the time I stopped watching cartoons when it got like too like goof, like the jokes wasn't joking to me. And it's weird because that was the rift. That's around like 95, 96 is when my younger siblings were born, 96 to 98. And so those are the cartoons that they actually remember more than anything. And I do see that big rift there between myself and like people my age versus like that whole 6-year difference is a big difference.
Yeah, that came
because
like later
of the
on,
electronic
98. I think 98 was like big, but like the cartoons are starting to,
the Cow and
transform.
Chicken
Yeah.
and Rocco
Yeah,
was
they started
Modern
getting super
Life,
weird like that,
Ed, Ed
right?
and
Yeah.
Eddie, like they started getting really goofy, and so you see that
Yeah.
a lot in this generation. Like these 23-year-olds, that's who they are now. They're the 23 to 27-year-olds. You see them, especially the women. They're all over hip hop. That's the generation that grew up on those cartoons and that level of indoctrination. You see them growing up. You see the Krishan Rock. You see, the was it Lotto and all the people she rap with.
Yeah, we see the dysfunction.
Glorilla and all the people she rap with. And you see,
I
like,
was reading up on them. I was like, her and this girl, who's the other one? The one with the orange hair.
girl, I don't want to lie to you. I don't know none of these motherfuckers. But I'm just saying that is a big ass difference between our shit and that 6-year difference is
fighting
wild.
over who bent over on the cover album. You know what I'm saying? Who bent over on the cover album first? You know what I'm saying? Like, how like Baby would bend over, look between their legs, shit.
Lil Kim and Foxy Brown did it first. Salt and Pepper did it first.
They talking like they having a whole battle like between like who came out with that shit first. Like y'all hoes just got here,
right? Like, but that's also another riff where like,
this is
our
really what you're choosing
generation
to fight about.
Yeah. It's
We're having a disagreement on this. Like all this shit going on in the world, and y'all choose to fight over.
But that's all showing like the difference in the 11th house energy. Like even if you don't have any placements in 11th house, you have a certain kind of energy over your 11th house. Like my 11th house is in Gemini. So my awareness comes from like that communication and electronic communication and like, having that alignment of electronic communication with my social awareness and friendship. Like there's a divine alignment there between self and social media and all that stuff. And there's a whole generation there with that 11th house placement in Gemini.
Mine is in Lilith.
You got your Lilith is in 11th house?
Yes, ma'am.
That's cool because you were talking earlier about getting into like shadow work and dark energy work and stuff like that. That's probably like the tribe that you'll like connect to.
I already do.
Right? We're here. Let's start doing weird shit under the moons.
I even produced a child who wants to do so. You know what I'm saying? I think she actually does.
I ain't mad.
I think she does.
I look forward to it. I want to learn a little bit more, but then I definitely want to get into it. That's why I was like, yo, that's what we should do for next season. We should like do the light and darkness of the chakras, slowly getting into that shit. Like, all right, we did 4 seasons. We know a lot now. We could do some shit.
Oh yeah, we definitely can put in some work. We definitely could do some science on that.
All right, let's get into this 12th house though. This 12th house is the Piscean house, little Neptune, Neptune energy over here. This is just beneath the horizon. This is the darkness before dawn. Now in the Orisha realms, this is associated with a Olokun, and we know the story of Olokun. He was the one that was trying to flood the earth, and he got chained down to the bottom of the ocean. We talked about this when we was talking about the 7th house.
Wolverine.
Yeah. So they talk about how the bottom of the ocean is the energy of is the hidden. And the 12th house also deals with people that are separated from society. So while the 11th house deals with your interactions with society and your social awareness and your friendships, the 12th house deals with those people who are separated, whether they be incarcerated, in the hospital, in jails, rehab centers, schools, like any type of separation, any type of level of solitude or isolation, the reasons why and stuff like that. Transit houses, is like karmic energy that you're about to attract.
This is your karma. Yeah.
It deals with your karma. So when you have a house go through the 12th house and it opens up one of your transit 12th house energies, or maybe the 12th house is in your 12th house zodiac energy, this, a karma loophole is being opened. So be mindful of the energy you attract here, because it's in alignment with the energy you've been putting out. It's in alignment with the deep energy. That's why it's like a lot of shadow work and hidden subconscious energy work has to be done with the 12th house energy. This is in alignment with Nut, Amin, Amun, all that energy. This also deals with old age, afterlife, limiting beliefs, journals, diaries, your imagination, creativity in the arts, film. Your body parts is feet, toes, and your lymphatic system, your left eye, insomnia. Was left eye a Pisces? Secret enemies, balance of the mind, disability, your foot, death, physical pleasure and sorrow, because the 12th house Pisces energy is the feminine side of your sacral chakra as well. So like if you overindulge in the inwards, like I told y'all, be careful of the energy you put out, because it's the karmic energy you'll get back. So if you put too much out in your sacral chakra, you're going to get back too much in your sacral chakra. If you know, don't put enough out, you're not going to get enough back. This also deals with loss of property, marriage problems, diseases, according to like medical astrology, all that fun stuff. The 12th house deals with relationships with your paternal grandmother and your maternal grandfather. If you have a first house and peace, if you have a first house and 12th house alignment, what happens is
Gemini.
The first house and 12th house?
No, I was saying Lisa Lopes.
Oh, she was a Gemini? Oh, okay.
May 27th? What's that?
Yeah, that's a Gemini.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. I was wondering about that because Pisces rules over the left eye.
Died in 2002. Oh, died April 25th, 2002. Wow. Damn,
my mom's birthday
2002 as well.
April, August. That was like the month of the celebrities. April, August roams. Yeah, so if you have the first house, which is Mars, Aries energy, you want to keep Mars, Aries energy away from the 12th house, Pisces, Neptune energy. They don't get along. Any type of first house energy in association with the 12th house is kind of like loss of self. So you are hidden in your subconscious. Nobody knows you, not even you. But this is the place where you can get tapped into your Akashic records, most definitely. Oh, my Jupiter is in the 12th house. That's wild. My Chiron is in the 12th house.
Really? I don't have any 12th house placement.
My Jupiter, Chiron, and my node, my fortune, is in the 12th house.
Yeah, so the 12th house deals with your unconsciousness and and the integration. And fear. A lot of fears. Because the unknown, right?
Yeah. So my Jupiter is in Leo. Oh, it is a lot of energy that kind of hides my Leo energy from me, because my ascendant Leo is in retrograde, and then my Jupiter is in Leo in the 12th house. So that means that my optimism and all that stuff is hidden in the subconscious realm. It's hidden in my dreams and my Akashic records. And then to have Chiron, which is my wounds, my Chiron is in Cancer, so my maternal wounds also is embedded deep in my subconscious. So I'm never gonna get over this Cancer stuff. I don't want to speak on that. That's some bullshit. And then my fortune is in alignment with Jupiter, because the generosity and stuff there. So like by me rising above the wounds of my maternal energy, I'll get my fortune and stuff there. But I gotta do like some deep like subconscious work to do that. And of course, my 12th house is ruled by Cancer.
Right. So I got a question though. So when you don't have houses in a certain placement, like, I don't have a 12th house. I didn't have a 7th house. What would that mean for a person? Is that something that they still would have to look out for or whatever? Or does it still affect them because of the other places that may be close by them, like the 11th house, you know what I'm saying, and 6th house or 5th house or what have you?
No, it just means that those aren't like important parts of your And those aren't important subjects in your life in this lifetime. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Well,
It's
that's
not a
good. I ain't got to
focal
worry about karma then, huh? I am the
no,
karma.
right?
That's what's up.
I bring the scales. Yeah, I ain't got no knife house placements either. I just got stuff in Capricorn, but it's not in the knife
Oh,
house.
it makes sense though, sis. It makes
Mm.
sense. Since I don't have a 12th house and my Lilith is in the 11th house in Cancer.
Mm. Home and family triggers.
There you go. And bringing the karma. Doing the shadow work, but doing the shadow work they don't want to do.
For real.
Like I cussed the whole family. I got blocked from the family. I unblocked everybody though.
It be like that. Sometimes you gotta block people and let them know what it is, because they be getting it wrong. That's all. Um. So we went over the different houses and their energy. I don't want to keep y'all too much longer because we supposed to be a Sankofa episode, but there are different house systems. So there's like 3 main house systems. These are how they're broken down. You have the first house system is the ecliptic system. The ecliptic system is divided by the ecliptic. Now, what the ecliptic is basically the pathway of the sun across our sky or whatever. And this is the early house systems. Example is Porphyry. I don't know how to pronounce stuff. The second house system is the space systems, and this is the division of the celestial sphere. So, like, if you pay attention, you see how we have a North Pole here. Well, it's the mindset that Earth doesn't really look like this straight up. Earth actually spins on a side of itself. Miles. Earth actually spins on the side of itself. So the pole will be here, and then there'll be a celestial pole here, and there's a difference between the two as they're like going in circular motion. So there's a bigger circle being created around that because of that. And that's like the electromagnetic field, and that's what the space house systems are based on. This determines how the resulting house cups relate to the ecliptic. And then the third way is the time systems. And this is when our usually you have a zodiac or a constellation, a house or whatever rising from here. And so you would time it like, okay, you're rising at this time. It took you this amount of time to get from here to here. So we timed it, took the time, and divided it into 3 equal parts. Or we just divided it into the parts that needed to be added. Some people take this quadrant and flip it down to this quadrant, and then it automatically creates space for these 3 quadrants. So that's in a nutshell. This is just so y'all can get the idea of certain vocabulary we finna use. You are the observer. This is you standing here. This is the dome around you as a person. And you know, domes within domes or whatever. But let's talk about the first dome. This is like your natal chart dome. This is why it's important to know the city and state you're born into and the time you're born into. So the zenith is where your pole is. So if I'm standing here, this is where the pole of me is at, you know, and then we will have, you know, the planet wherever have you. This is the equator or the horizon, you know, as you know it from where you're standing at. And then they would do there's certain house charts that would take the zenith of you and create imaginary lines in equal parts going downward to the equator realm. And this is just another example of what I just explained. You are the observer. This is your zenith at a 90-degree angle of you to the horizon. All right. And then we divided these spaces into equal parts. This is how, like, you know, when the zenith is, you know, divided around you, this is how we apply it to the about of you. This is a really cool breakdown. It's not that I didn't do that intentional. It's just I like how that came out. Anyway, so these are the different circles that's around you. So you got, you know, the line of the horizon, you know, the celestial equator, is, you know, the horizon, and then the space made around the celestial equator is like this in alignment with the pathway of the sun, like what's the diameter of the sun's ecliptic or whatever. And so that creates like a big dome circle around you. So it's the mindset that the sun actually evolves around the earth, or the sun's like relation to the earth. And that's because you, the observer, are at a standstill here. So it's basically talking about the sun's pathway in relationship to where you are, creating 90-degree angles around you. So these are like the great circles in the celestial sphere is the zenith, which is the relationship to where you're standing at, you know, the horizon line, if you will. Then you have the pathway of the sun creating their own ecliptic. And then you have a circle around all of it, you know, measuring all of those diameters together as one. And this is basically just okay, so the whole sign, what is this, Placidius? This is Placidius right here. Placidius is considered a time situation. All right. So this was created in the 17th century. This is the one that we use the most. This controls the time that it takes to get from the ascendant to the midheaven. All right. So we look at where the ascendant is and we time it. And it's like, oh, it took this long for this planet or, you know, whatever to get here, from this house to get here. And then this time is divided into 3. And as you notice, like, you know, the houses are not equal size or equal in shape because it's in alignment with where you are. So the math is also wild for this because you kind of have to look at other earlier charts and say like, okay, well, around this time of day, it was this zodiac here, and you kind of get into the pattern of it. So now we have the computer who has like algorithms already embedded because of the farmer's almanac. So it shows, you know, the times that the sun was rising and what zodiac it was in when it was rising, and, you know, from the east or whatever. So, you know, you can go back to that farmer's almanac, but there is, you know, the maths to do that. It's just very difficult, and it's a lot of trial and error. So that's essentially what this is. And then the horoscope, the horizon, this is the quadrants. So we have the horizon, and then we have the midheaven, because remember, the earth is spinning on its axis. So its poles are this way, this way. So you have that zodiac energy that just takes this knowledge, these 4 lines, and then divides them into 3 spaces. And that's how you're going to get the houses over here. And this one is called the, this is just talking about the celestial sphere. And this also helps you get an idea of how to read these spheres if you guys don't know how to read these zodiac spheres as well. Now, on the Vedic side, go ahead, sis.
No, I was saying,
Okay. So if you want to learn how to read these charts, now this is the Vedic realm. When we get into the lunar mansions, we're going to get into this a little bit heavier too, because these get exalted by the lunar mansions as well. But, you know, this diagram here is showing you the order to read this diagram. So this is the first house. So their first house is ruled by Aquarius energy. You have Aquarius energy in the first house, and we done went over who's friends and foes here. So you know the first house is associated with Mars, right? And Mars has Aquarius energy. We know Aquarius energy is associated with like Jupiter, Capricorn energy. When we're in the realms of Vedic, because you know Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto don't fully exist here. So you have that energy there. Yeah, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. Bet. So you have Saturn and Mars there. And we said that Saturn, Aries energy or Mars energy is actually debilitating to Saturn. So this is a harsh energy in the first house. We already got friction in the temperament. And then the second house is here. So the second house is ruled by 12th energy. So the second house is ruled by Pisces energy. Pisces energy is associated with Jupiter. So we know Jupiter actually it doesn't have really much of a care or attraction to Venus in any type of way, to be honest. So it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't matter, but it's not like a big deal or a little deal. But to have such a planet of generosity and knowledge and stuff like that, to have that kind of
Mm-hmm.
zodiac energy on top of the second house is dope because second house is the energy of possessions.
Mm-hmm.
This is the third house. Then you get into the fourth, and then the fifth, and then the sixth. So how I would read this here, let's talk about this. The sixth, so this is the sixth house. The sixth house is ruled by four. Four is Cancer. So Cancer energy is the lord of the sixth house. So that home and family likes to have the health, wellness, and daily routine. Also, wellness over your nervous system, your mind, your eyes is a big deal here for Cancer energy, right? And then you're saying that my moon and my Mars is in Cancer in the sixth house. So that's what you're saying here in this energy. And we know moon and Cancer, moon owns Cancer energy, so it likes it here. The sixth house is Mercury energy. The sixth house actually is the enemy to the moon. So, there's some friction here with, your emotional self and your integrity and, your moral code and your patterns and stuff like that. And it's happening in your space of motivation in your moon. That's the energy, you're giving off. That's your emotions and your motivation, your ambition. So, that's how you will read this, in the Vedic chart. And then you will go, over into the seventh house, then the eighth house, then the ninth house, the 10th, the 11th, and then the 12th. So their 10th house, I mean, Capricorn is in their 12th house. So they have structure. They might have been like a spiritual, um, they might have been like a spiritual, like a gatekeeper, if you will. Like these people are going to be the ones that construct the courses and the books and stuff like that for spiritual practices, religious practices. You might see them in the pulpit. You might see them creating DIY or how-to books and stuff like that. So this is how you break down this chart in the Vedic realm, how you would read that and stuff like that. So that's that. you know um because we went over the houses, you now know the numbers in correlation with the energy. 1 is Aries, 2 is Taurus, 3 is Gemini, 4 is Cancer, 5 is Leo, 6 is Virgo, 7 is Libra, 8 is Scorpio, 9 is Sag, 10th is Cat, 11th is Aquarius, and 12th is Pisces. So, when you see these numbers in here in these spaces, that's exactly what you're looking at. You're looking at those zodiac energies, and then also having the knowledge of the planets that are associated with those zodiac energies as well will give you an idea of the different energies. So that's there for the Vedic astrology. Now, the astronomy of the houses, getting back into how the astrological houses are created. So this is a chart for the Perfer Capanis Placidius chart. So these are the time charts I was telling y'all about. Well, the chart is the equinox and solstice. This chart perfer is the equinox and solstice lines, which we know is the perpendicular, vertical horizon. It deals with the seasons. So this one actually deals with the seasons and dividing the seasons by 3 equal parts. The 10th house is always midheaven here, okay, and is built on the quadrant system. So the word horoscope, reminding the horoscope word actually means that which marks the hour, time, or season. So that's what houses tell: the time, the hour, or the season. All right. So in this one, it's telling you the season. What season are we in? That's what this chart tells. The companion chart. The companion chart is the chart of time. So this one, no, I'm sorry. This one is space. So the meridian on this one, which is this line right here, is starting at the divine prime vertical. Okay. And then it's divided into 3 equal pieces. See? How about rewind? 1, 2, 3 are equal This is your zenith. We talked about the zenith. That's where you're standing at, right? The 90-degree angle between you and the horizon, which is this black line. So that 90-degree angle between you and the horizon is the zenith energy. You know, you see the zenith being divided into 3 equal parts. You see them around you. Now, looking at this, you could tell the higher you are, the skinnier the houses are. So if you're in a space by mountains and shit, your houses are smaller for you. All right. But if you're by the water, you in lower area, the houses are bigger for you. So this is where the discrepancies with space houses come from, because of the different sizes, because we like to think that everything is a perfect circle and stuff like that. But these are how the houses are created. As you can see, like the H1, H12, da 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 da. Now you see the prime meridian, which is the perpendicular line here between the zenith and the horizon. That tells you the cusp of the first house going into the 12th house. So this all right here is the first house. What? Where this right here is the 12th house, and the ascendant is the line between the ecliptic and the horizon. So, you know, that's how you look at different charts, and you'll say, well, over here, my ascendant is here, over here, my ascendant is here, and that's in relation to space and where you're standing at. So all that to say, the progressive chart is actually really important for you, because the progressive chart talks about how you are expanding as you move. I live in Jersey. When I lived in Virginia, my ascendant house was different because I was in a different city and state. And that makes sense, because while my temperament over here in Jersey gives off a certain energy, with my ascendant being in Leo, when I go to Virginia, my ascendant, the temperament, the energy I would give off will be different. People will receive me different down there. It would also change, you know, the different relationships I have in my 4th house with the home and family. You know, your home and family structure is going to be different where you move. The ascendant energy, like the energy you receiving from other people and stuff like that. That 7th
So how
house,
about
the
when you
one-on-one
move closer, like
relationships.
to the equator?
The
You
closer to
know.
you are to the
Mm-hmm.
equator from this
Mm-hmm.
model, the
Mm-hmm.
wider your positions are. And then also,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so in this one, it shows, so you're going to experience all 12 houses on in this model, right? But there are some models where you don't experience all 12. So we can get into that one. So like one like this, where we go by the seasons. And that's why by the islands, when you by the islands, you're near the line of Capricorn and the line of Cancer, but you don't see all the zodiacs in between. You don't see those 6 zodiacs underneath. You're not going to experience the when those 6 houses go down, they're going down underground, like into the soil or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you think about the ones over top of us. Hold on. So this one is, these are just like clear these are just reiterations of what I talked about, talking to y'all about the poles, the north pole of the equator, and then the north pole of the ecliptic, which is the pathway of the sun compared to where you're standing at and stuff. So this is just like further models of what I was talking about. Now, like this is another one that you might not totally experience all of the houses here, because it goes by the north pole of the equator, and then, you know, it builds the houses from there, you know. And so you might not totally experience all those houses, because as you can see, the houses are being split from off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be like 1 or 2 houses you missed. Then this is also coming to a space where all the houses are not equal. This house system, I'm trying to find which house system. Oh, this one, yeah, Regal Mountains, whatever the fuck. This is another space system, okay? And you see how it goes from the side. This is the point right here. The meridian is here, and it's projected from the pole of the equator. So now instead of starting from north south pole, now we're starting from the east west pole.
Mm.
So when they start from here, and this is usually how we think in our minds without even really applying, you know, pressure to it, because we think about the ascendant, you know, the sun rising and what
Right.
zodiac is rising with the sun. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, even without effort, we kind of combine all of these concepts in one when we think about zodiacs before we know the actual structure of houses and zodiacs. So it's pretty interesting. But anyway, so if you look on this model, it starts off by, you know, this side of the horizon, and it creates the equal houses from there. So in this realm, yeah, you would only be experiencing whatever zodiacs is over top of your dome, which would most likely be the six, you know, and then the ascendant, you know, starting down the bottom of the earth. And this would be like ascendant to 12th house energy here. So it's really about finding the four main lines and dividing the four main lines into three equal parts. And they don't always end up equal throughout the equal parts, because, you know, nothing is perfectly symmetrical here. The Campanus house system, this is another space system. Um is also, you know, the meridian is a big important part of the space system, because this is the starting point. This determines the starting point wherever the meridian intersects with. Again, we're talking about the south pole of the horizon again for this model, and then dividing it into equal parts. Divisions are projected by the pole onto the ecliptic. So the ecliptic is this red line here. That's the pathway of the sun, right? So
Right.
where the pathway of the sun aligns with the horizon of Earth, again, it looks crazy because they're showing you what the Earth would look like if it was standing like this. But the Earth
Right.
doesn't stand like
Tilted.
this. The Earth stands like this. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why the line looks curved. But in your mind, you're like, shouldn't the line be straight? No, it's not going to be straight, because that's not the way the sun goes. The sun goes to the sideways. So this intersection of the ecliptic and the horizon is the ascendant. This is what we be thinking of, right? When the sun rises here, whatever zodiac is here, that's where we're rising. And then we, you know, keep going up from there. We divide it into equal parts. So it's the ascendant going up into the zenith, which we talked about is where you're related to, which is why the progressive chart astrocartography is big here too, y'all. Astrocartography is big for these houses too, because as you move, they move.
Mm.
So, you know, and then the elevation that you're at matters too. Like you said, like the mountains and the waters and the valleys, all of that
Yeah.
matters, because that
Mm-hmm.
changes your elevation to the relation of the zenith and all these equal parts here and how they relate to you. You might be getting the skinny part of this house, to where now your house on this chart might be into 11 instead of 12. So
Right.
yeah, we move from the ascendant, and this is the 12th house, the 11th house, the 10th house is always going to be at the zenith, because that's midheaven. That's the highest point. All right. So that's there, and that's the Campanus house. Um is yeah. I talked about that. I'm gonna repeat myself. Um Now these houses deal with time, right? This is the Alcibiades house, and this was discovered in the 10th century. So this is the point on the ecliptic that is natal ascendant. So where you were born at, your zenith, where you were located,
Mm-hmm.
is in relation to, you know, where what was ascending at that time that you were born. And then the earth rotates until this natal place rises to the midheaven. All right. And then that time that it takes for your natal ascendant to rise to the midheaven, that time is trisected. So this is the most interpersonal one, I think, because as far as interpersonal going towards your natal chart. So if I wanted to really like get a snapshot of like who am I at the time of my birth, this will be the house system that I would use more so for the time of my birth. I know we use Placidius or whole house system or equal house system the most, because that's just the default that most of these natal chart things come into. But I personally would go with this one, because this one specifically says, hey, we care about the houses at your natal chart point. You know what I'm saying? And so this one is the one that divides it into minutes and stuff like that. And again, you'll see here how some of the houses are larger than others. That's just how the cookie crumbles for that one. Now, this house system, this is the space house system. We talked about this though. The ascendant here at the equator line being the first house, going this way. And this is the space between the ascendant and the midheaven. Remind you, the midheaven is always going to be on its axis of where we're at. And then they automatically start doing the math. Well, if this is the ascendant to the midheaven, then we can infer that 180 degrees from there is the fourth house. And so that's where it is. So they kind of like do this math and use this math to calculate the rest of the math. Some other ones, Coke. I pronounce it Coke because I be thinking of the Koch brothers. I don't know if that's correct. But this is another time one. Is that the right pronunciation?
It's I think it might be Cook.
Cook? Okay.
Yeah. Like they had to change their fucking name, you know, like I don't know, some type of immigrant type shit, whatever they had going on. The guys how to spell Cook.
I should. This is another one that's really good for your birth chart too, though. Because this one is the most not the most used. This is the birthplace house system. So this is a variant of the Alcibiades. So here we start at the midheaven. So we start here and we look up at midheaven and we're going to work backwards to the ascending and think about how much time it took when the MC was ascending. So it's kind of like a guess thing, like, okay, I'm looking at the midheaven at 12 noon and it's such and such. So how long did it take for such and such to get to midheaven at 12 noon? That determines what this quadrant is. And that's why you'll see that 12th house quadrant be huge majority of the time in this realm, because it's not really about dividing equally. The ascendant of each time has house cups, so everything is in alignment with cusp. And you'll see that the Placidius house doesn't really deal with cusp. They kind of blend in, and I'll explain that in a moment, because I know I started confused. I'm not confusing myself, but I feel confusion. But this is the most simple to calculate. It's not much difference to the Placidius house. The only thing is in the polar latitudes, because some of the ecliptic lines aren't going to fall and set on this one, but because you have the underneath area. So this underneath area kind of like, just doing the reflection mathematics and assuming that, okay, you're going to reflect this, you're going to reflect this, but the time might be a little different, just like how, like, you have certain retrogrades at certain times of the year, you have retrogrades at certain times of the day as well. So this is associated with that. So whereas we talked about
we go through a lot of shifts and movements throughout the day, within the hour.
Right. So the Placidius is going from ascendant to midheaven. The Koch is going from midheaven to ascendant. All right. That's the difference between those two houses. There's not much difference in number, but if you're into numerology and the numerology associations with the planets, it's good to know both. Now the whole house system, that's like one of the easiest, like cut and dry, baby. Whatever the zodiacs is doing, the houses is doing. We equal out here, and you see that here. The zodiacs equal the houses, and they're going by the equinox and the solstice. So the equinox here between springtime equinox at 0 degree Aries and the autumn equinox at 0 degrees Libra. And you know what's crazy? That's where our nodes are in the transit chart right now. Our nodes are in 0 degree Aries and Libra. So we're moving towards, balancing scales. Is it the North Node in Libra or the South Node? I forget. But I know that that's our nodes right now in the transit. And Pluto is square our nodes right now. And that's going to be happening throughout the year with our node and in that area with Pluto being square our nodes. So that means that there's going to be some restriction there in the realms of transformation and, you know, the pendulum swinging and stuff. So like, I know our spiritualists, I know, you know, the battle is difficult right now because it seems like, you know, we're walking in our power and our purpose, but that indoctrination is still trying to keep a hold in the realms of capitalism and social hierarchy and entrepreneurship and all that stuff like that. And that's the tug of war that happens with Libra and Aries being square Pluto, because Pluto deals with joint ventures and not just, you know, sex and power, but also some level of funding monies that come with, you know, sitting in your power, the inheritance that comes with sitting in your power. So, you know, and then Libra deals with wealth and balance and harmony, and then Aries is dealing with new beginnings and that pushback, the warrior like energy. So you have, you know, those things happening. So that's a little transit information for y'all. But yeah, so the whole house system, this is just, you know, doesn't matter what, it's just equal. Now the thing with this is not a direct correlation of the exact degrees when it comes to the houses. Like if you use this one, you'll realize that, you know, this degree is equal to this degree. This degree is equal to this degree. This degree is equal to this degree. You know, so on and so forth. The degrees are different, or the same, mirroring each other every 6 degrees. You know, so you'll see that it gives off a sense of falsehood. It's an easy way to do things, but I think this is like training wheels. The whole sign house system is training wheels, but still good training wheels to have nonetheless. I definitely started off with the whole sign house system when I first started reading charts. The equal house system is same type time. The ascendant starts off your first house into the 12th. The thing with this one is say whereas like this one is we're starting at 0 degrees. What this one is, if the ascendant is at Aries 20 degrees, then the second house is at Pisces 20 degrees. The third house is at Aquarius 20 degrees. You get what I'm saying? They're all going to be at the same degree. So it's equal in between them, but we're not starting off at 0. We're starting at the actual ascendant. So that's the equal versus the whole house system. And to let you guys know, both of these systems, I believe, deal with the ecliptic. Yes, they're ecliptic systems. So they deal with the equinoxes and the solstices, whereas the Koch system deals with time. Placidius, we went over that already. That deals with time and the time it takes to go from ascendant to midheaven, and then equally dividing the pieces in between.
So that's usually what the system that we base our houses off of, with that system.
Yeah, we usually use the Placidius. That's the most used. And that's in a divine alignment with like you know how our sun goes. It takes 2 hours for a constellation or a zodiac to rise. 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So, you know, when we look at the clock, the hours from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., that's the ascendant time. So whatever zodiac is at that ecliptic line, you know, the 90 degree angle between the meridian and the ecliptic or whatever is there at that hour, that's the ascendant sign at that hour. And that's why it's important to know what time you were born and also what location, because the meridian is based on your zenith. Where are you?
So with the other charts that we had, do those depend on time?
Wait, repeat that.
With the other charts that we went through, well, the different scientists or whatever who discovered these different things, do those depend on time?
Oh, let me tell you. So the ones that depend on time are the Alcibiades. That's the one where I said you were tracking the time between how long it took the midheaven to go to the ascendant, and then you're flipping it. That's a time one. Placidius is a time one, and Cook, those are time ones.
As to where the other ones are based on.
So the space system is when I got into the poles and the meridian around the poles and the great circles. That is the Marinus house system. That's when we take the meridian with the celestial equator and we divide it into 12 equal parts. The Regio Montanus system, that's when everything is constructed around zenith, which is where you're at. and the 90 degree of your pole to the earth
Right.
or whatever. And we divide those degrees into 30 degrees. Is that one is not really bent on having a 90-degree angle, whatever. It's bent on create this first 30-degree angle and then go from there. The Campanus house system, that is with the meridian starting at the prime vertical and then dividing it into 30 equal pieces. And then the zenith, or no, horizontal house systems. That's the most recent one, and it's not very popular, but North American astrologers use it, whatever, because it's good for them in like North America, like Canada-ish, where the mountains be. This one is the best one for them because it's divided into equal 30 sections, and is starting at the meridian rather than starting at the cross between the meridian and the equator, which is a little bit lower.
You know which one I think makes a lot of sense to me? Outside of, the traditional one that we, basically how we went over. I think the one where you say where you're standing and, you're going by the 30 degrees, wherever your position that you are. I think that one I can agree with, because being that we truly don't know the shape of our earth or whatever, or where exactly the fucking equator, saying really lies or whatever shit like that,
I agree.
Like where you are, where you are standing at a certain point on earth and the positioning of the stars and the planets and shit. You can go off of that, and since time doesn't really exist neither, you know what I'm saying, you can go along with that, because that's what I think. That's how they probably did it back in the days. And but
That's
the
valid.
like, oh yeah, I came up with this shit.
It's 11 o'clock. Like, who's to say it's 11 o'clock right now to say that that's the ascendant? Because you're talking about the middle of the night.
Yeah. And it brings me to it brings me to the mind of like the sundial or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like our watches and shit. There's certain degrees on that and what have you. So I think that one probably will be more. Let's find later on. Let's find our placements with that chart.
The sundial.
Well, the whichever one we were talking about, sis, the one with the diagram with the person standing with the 90-degree shit.
Oh yeah, let's do that. That's progressive chart and energy.
Yeah.
Because that's always changing. Because like you was born at the hospital, but after you left that hospital, you was no longer at that hospital. So to keep saying, "Oh, this is my ascendant energy and these are my houses," that's false. You literally, like, you could look at the snapshot of where you were born at. That's cool. That's literally the snapshot of where you were born at. You no energy sits still. So having that knowledge of physics, well, I'm always moving and expanding. The planets is always moving and expanding. So I have to pay attention. Okay, my first house address was here. So while I was at this house address, this is what my ascendant energy was. This was the energy I was giving off. And you see that as a child, like, when I was a kid, we moved a lot. Every year I was at a different school. So, every year, I wouldn't say that I changed a lot as a person because I still was in New Jersey. So like, overall on a hefty level, I wasn't like super different, but like maybe on a micro scale, my energy over here in Camden, my ascendant energy in Camden was different than my ascendant energy over here in Bordentown, or at least how I was being received. You know what I mean? And that's all house energy, your personal house energy. How does, that energy, in those different places? Yeah, it's not where you're from, it's where you at. Exactly. Those different placements, they change. Like, how did I feel about myself being in school in Camden versus being in school in this energy over here, being in Bordentown, and how am I being received? Those are all houses, because houses is where the energy is going, right? So where is the where?
Yeah. Where are we going?
Where we at right now?
I mean, and when you walking, you ever just be walking, you know what I'm saying? Just look up at the sky and like it's moving along with you. But when you standing still, ain't nothing moving though, right? But as you going, it doesn't look like it's moving when you standing still.
I used to feel like the star,
It
like at
moves for you.
nighttime, I used to feel like the stars were chasing me.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. That's whatever star it is, though. You know what I'm saying? It is. They all moving around you. Shit. We are the world. That ass. Like I can sit right here, look outside, like yo, ain't nothing moving. But as soon as I start walking and looking up, I'm like, yo,
We all
everything's moving now.
moving.
We all
But that's
moving.
the space systems. The space systems is the meridian. The meridian is the great circle that passes the north and south pole of the celestial equator, not the earth equator, the celestial equator, and how it's being split up. And that's the space systems. Now, we went over time system and space systems. The third system is the ecliptic system. And that's when we talk about the equinox and the solstices. The solstices are, top to bottom. The equinoxes is left to right. And then we create, we split those up evenly in between time. Now, the ecliptic systems are equal house and whole house, and that's the the ones that I said was 101. Like that's we start off with those. Everybody got the same degrees, everybody got the same energy. We out here. That's ecliptic, easy peasy. The fall got 3 zodiacs. The winter got 3 zodiacs. The summer got 3 zodiacs. It's fixed in that realm, and that's what the whole house and equal system is about. And then the porphyry house. This is also the same mindset, dividing the equinox and solstice into 3 equal parts. It's just they try to do the maths a little bit. Like the whole sign is based on a full 30 degrees of each zodiac, whereas the porphyry house is more so about 3 equal parts. So 3 equal parts might not always add up to 30 degrees. You know what I'm saying? And then the equal house, everybody is 30 degrees again, but this is not based upon the quadrants of equinoxes and solstices. It's just like everybody needs 30 degrees. And in that space, in equal house, that's when the 10th house isn't always the 10th house. Like the midheaven isn't always the 10th house. It's whatever that 10th 30 degree is. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you deal with here. Now this topocentric, this is another time system. So this is you. So this is like the mindset that this is earth and you're on top of the earth. And so this is your relationship on top of the earth. So that's the model we're thinking about. Yeah, this was created in 1961. So time travel with us, okay? Think about the mindsets of 1961. Okay. So this is supposed to be a refinement of the Placidius system, the time that we talked about. So if you're on the surface or whatever, then this is your relation. This is the geocentric horizon based upon where you are, where it looks like the sun is rising and falling based upon where you're at. All right. And then it's the connection there is the ascendant. And then you just keep going up from there. And that's the mindset that you're not going to touch all, 30 degrees either. So that's a whole thing.
That shit's crazy though. He's standing on top of the world.
Right. I think that's such a weird. We did that. What was it? The Earth maps and stuff. I think that was a very weird concept to think we're just sitting on top of the world. Oh, we at the end. We just sitting on top of the world and shit. But we learned a lot this episode. This was a good. This was a very good Sankofa episode. I was here for it.
Yeah, me too, sis.
If y'all just tuning in,
I'm glad I can share more, you know what I'm saying, on this episode, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know anything last time, so I was like, I had to come with it.
Yeah. If y'all just tuning in, this is definitely one to rewind to. We did a good job on this one. This was a class. This was a class.
Indeed. I enjoyed.
The next episode we got is the theories of the celestial maps, girl.
Oh, yeah, some more studying.
More studying. We're going to get into the celestial maps. This plague on all your houses, you'll probably see a lot of this information being regurgitated because we did talk a lot about the meridians and the poles and the zenith and everything. So, we probably going to repeat a lot of that to y'all. but we're gonna get into like the different maps of the skies and the histories of the maps and stuff. So make sure y'all tap back into the first season episode. Well, this is the second season. These next 3 episodes are from the second season. So you guys can tap back into those episodes and then expound with us, about these celestial maps. I can't wait for the mobiles to niggas one. That was my favorite one. I've been getting into a lot of dialogue about the lineage of us, and especially going back to the Inky and the Leo episode. So I'm probably gonna, rewind back to that a little bit and bring us up to the mobiles to niggas on my end. Because I do want to tie in those Anunnakis with the biblical tribes in the Genesis chapter.
Indeed.
Word.
You know we're gonna do it.
The Pathway to Sovereignty. This is another great episode. We had the goddess Denise Bay on the second season episode. I would like if y'all know anybody that want to come through and pull up and provide some information on. Otherwise, we gonna do the shit. So it is what it is. But like, yeah. You're broken the law. Thank you.
Yeah, this definitely was an episode I enjoyed. Was a blessing tuning into this lesson. Going to have to recap, no cap, so much to learn. Appreciate y'all. We always appreciate you, Romeo, always coming through.
Hey, mask off, crown on, gang gang.
Yeah.
So this episode was brought to you by Body and Yoni Essentials.
Yeah, where we are healers over here. We curate products for your healing journey. So we do consultations as well. As you can see here, we got the Yoni soaps. We have the Yoni steam. We have the turmeric soap. You have eczema, psoriasis, any type of skin element or whatever that's just kind of pesky. I know about eczema, you know what I'm saying? And I virtually made mine disappear. So let's make yours disappear as well. And here we have the super hard. The super hard. Not only does it make you super hard, but it takes care of your reproductive organs as well. It helps assist with that. Heals you, keeps you stimulated, focused, use it to work out, all that. So yeah, hit us up at bodyandyoni.com. You can find me at bodyandyoni.com. Oh, excuse me. Body and Yoni Essentials. It's about that time. Body and Yoni Essentials on Facebook. Body and Yoni Essentials on IG. And we'll take it back to sunshine. You know how much I humble myself. And Sunshine here with her lovely face. She is muted.
I am muted. See? I'll top you on your humility. I'll mute myself. So, I'm brought to you by Let's Nobody's Business, Let's Nobody's Collection. We promote unity among everyone, aligning all elements of this universe, the last of the next. Y'all know I love my minerals and my metals and stones. So you pull up for some body and healing decor, as well as consultations, as well as aligning yourself with the astrology, astronomy, things of that nature of stuff. I do natal chakra readings, so I'll place your natal charts into your chakra centers. I also do gematria as well as numerology readings, aligning yourself with your name, your lineage name, numbers that keep popping up to you, your addresses, the gematria of your natal chart, all that stuff. I do all of that. I am here as your energy awareness coach and your spiritual DNA decoder. I really do love doing these chart readings. I do really help a lot of people. I can do it in one-time reading or ongoing therapy session. And y'all know we come through with the knowledge. So if you subscribe to my page, Let's Nobody's on YouTube, we have the astronomical updates. We post those daily, on top of the fact that I do the daily affirmations up there. Y'all like to hear some bars. And then I have the planetary forecast bi-weekly at this moment, because I've been getting in alignment with the number 14. So doing the new moon, the full moon, the new moon is a 14-day process. So bi-weekly you'll catch the planetary forecast. I just did the last one from new moon to full moon, so that from 7/17 to 8/1 is up there. Y'all can check that join out. What else we got going on? We got the Cosmic Nobody's Convention, y'all. So if you're interested in being a panelist, We do have like 2 more performance slots left, y'all. They are going by fast. So, if you don't drag your feet about performing, because I'm doing it's going away. And then we have lots and lots of vendor openings. So for my vendors, my workshop instructors pull up. We still have a couple more spots to being a panelist. This will be the season finale of Virgo Virgin Talk, the historic leaders of today. What is a leader? Who are our historic leaders and leaders of today? And how have we supported or failed them? And then how can we support them today? Because y'all know we love the call to action. We also got the flatter battle happening. I'm trying to bring forth a battle of the beats. So all my producers pull up. Y'all know I make the Organite Championship belts. And of course we got the main event, the Cosmic Nobodies Awards. As y'all know, these events cost money. So if you guys would like to donate to the cause, as we paid for the DJ and the venue and, supplies and things like that, this is where you can donate those funds to keep the Cosmic Nobodies Convention going, as well as Virgo Virgin Talk presence within the Cosmic Nobodies Convention, all that fun stuff.
And
support the
physical, the brick and mortar.
Yes. Oh yeah, girl. We got a store coming, y'all.
Brick and mortar.
So
Yes,
help us. We got a store coming. I'm very excited about us being in the physical with the brick and mortar, with the Body Yoni and the Less Nobodies, and we teaming up with the All Natural Corner Store. It's a nice balance of the elements happening in the space, and of course we're gonna have space for the events and teaching the courses and live tapings of Virgo Virgin Talk. So if y'all want to help support our expansion, this is the go-to space to do that. We appreciate y'all in advance. And I ended it on this slide. This was we're gonna end it with the cash app.
Yeah. End it with the cash app. Cash app us, let them know it's real.
Let us know where the cash at. So that's what we got for y'all. But thank y'all for tuning in. This was another great episode. And at 1:11 a.m., give me about some time to get myself together. We're gonna come through with the Sunday service. Y'all know
where we come through at the Sunday service at. We pull up over here, sis, because I had missed the episode or two. You know what I'm saying? I was like, where? I thought you was gonna post it on Facebook, and I was gonna.
I'll be on YouTube. I know it'd be on Facebook too, but yeah, definitely YouTube is the place to be for the Sunday service. I'm out here.
Okay, so right here on Less Nobodies. Okay.
Yeah. And I just realized that this episode is not broadcasted on the Virgo Virgin Talk YouTube page. So
it's all good.
I gotta move this episode to Virgo's L. And that's easy. Easy peasy. I'll do that right now.
All right. That's what's up. We thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love you and peace.
Hey, Sunshine Monet with the affirmations to enjoy your day with Sunshine Monet. You are listening to Chakra Music. I came through with intentions of destruction. You said you wanted freedom, well it's me then that you wanted. I moved in gratitude as my soul was being summoned. The consciousness has returned, Christ is really coming. I make these flows for the souls of Tristan Indigo. I make some goals for they glow since they was embryos. Access the records, they lectures, keep your principles. Enemies infect you, don't let them reach your pinnacles. Reversing curses that's embedded in religions. They wound up in your soul, that's why you feel tension. I'm remixing declensions before Sumerians existed. It's something in the water, don't get caught, you'll get acidic. I bury enemies, pay pinnacles to the witness. You say my name in threes, I appear in your vision. Write Iliads in me, I'm the witcher in your system. Silly as can be, there's no opposite in infinite. I'm the goddess of crossroads, touching all directions. With the skull and crossbones that cause to the vexes. I applaud the protectors, I'm the god of inflection. They see the demon in me and still pause the respecters. I need no translation, vibrating from universe. My throat mansplaining while my yoni do the work. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts.
Enoch 7 prophet, move like the 4 winds do. My energy is useful, my thoughts are old school. So I move with a Bob Slim. Say I'm sexy, haircut like Anita Baker, real lovely. Caught up in the rapture, it's kind of risque. Kisses and faces on public is real frisky. Touche.
You are listening to Chakra Music.
Mask off.